Cheers, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good Friday night. We're live, coming to you from my front room in this bungalow here in South Somerset, the year of our Lord 2025. Cheers. And I hope you've had a good day there. Coming up to the weekend. Weekend starts here. It's been a strange old week, really. I've just been to a meeting down the road. I'll have to say all this again, but I will. I'll say it all again. I've been to a meeting down the road. I've got the Parish Council. I won't say where it is because the powers that be, they're after me, as you know. They're after all of us, but they're not going to get us. And they're dimming the sun. They're actually going to dim the sun. Can you believe it? We hardly get any sun, and they're going to dim the little bit that we get. Disgusting, isn't it? I hope you're all well. What I'm going to do, as befits Friday night stream, is I'm going to put the invite into the chat. I've been watching other streamers, and I've got to develop a stream persona. So how do I do that? I always forget how to do it. Invite a guest. Oh yeah, you copy it. I said you copy it. I said you buy one, you get one free. You buy one, you get one free. So this is StreamYard. This is a free package that I've got, and I think you get a monthly allotted amount of time. I haven't reached it yet, but I haven't done a stream for a little bit. I never planned to do them because otherwise I'd probably never do them, Hello, 9 people. 9 people are here listening to me ramble, but I've just been to the local parish annual assembly of my village that I've lived in for a couple of years. This is the agenda, and it was quite interesting, actually. Hello, 10 people. Say hi if you'd like to. Give me a 1 in the chat if you'd. Hi, who have we got here? We've got Tracy Heaford Crew, and we've got Zoe Yard. Happy Friday, Zoe. Happy Friday, Tracy. Happy. Hey, hi, Turquoise Blue. Great to see you all. Hope you're doing well. I'm just kicking back a bit. I've just been out to the Parish Council meeting discussing. Hi, Kate Eleanor. Lovely to see you. Anybody would like to come on to the stream to discuss matters of import or just to shoot the breeze, chew the fat, whatever you like, really. Hello, everybody out there in interwebs world. I just had a major problem trying to get into this. Hello, Salim Khan. Hi, great to see you too. I'm going to stop talking in this kind of voice soon. That's because it's completely ridiculous. But yeah, I've been to this annual parish meeting, and lots of people stood up, and it's a small village, but a lot going on behind the scenes, a hell of a lot going on, and you don't know about it until you go to a meeting like this. And there was a guy from the main Somerset Council as well. Oh, you're having great. Cheers, Kate. Having a red Pinot with you. Yeah, nice Pinot. Yeah, I love that. Is that what they call it? Pinot Noir, is it? This one, what I got is, I'll tell you about my wine catastrophe in a minute. I thought I was gonna start crying, but what this is just got it from the little shop down the road as I came home from the village hall. Beautiful evening, actually. Beautiful evening. It's a Casillero de Diabolo, House of the Devil. House of the Devil. Well, maybe that's a sign of something, Hasn't got 666 on it, but it's from Chile. Chile. I think that's how you're meant to pronounce it. Chile, isn't it? But Kate's on the Pinot. But whatever you're drinking. Anyway, I was just going to say, enjoy it. If it's a cup of cocoa or nothing at all, just the prana from the air that keeps us all alive. If anybody would like to, it's the Nordsman. Yeah, that's right. It's the Nordsman. It's the Nordsman. This is the official, it's the Nordsman stream, that's what it is. Chile's good wine. I think it's good. I heard about Chile, that they kind of grow it high up in the hills. I don't know anything about wines. I just get these little tiny snippets, and they grow it high up on the hills, and it's kind of, the earth is kind of, It's something to do with, I've probably got this all wrong, but there's a kind of, the earth isn't super abundant of nutrients. It kind of, the grape, I don't know, there's something to do with the sugars or something like that. It thrives in some other way. And I might have mentioned this in previous videos about the film Sideways, which is my favorite film. I don't know if anybody has seen. Hello, Annie Brown. Great to see you. Hope you're well as well. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, it's the Norseman. Yeah, Salim Khan. I know it's become a motif, but all you need is 10 minutes and a cup of coffee, and you can, you know, if you had a film in which he was the main detective. I know we're obviously inevitably going to be talking about it, I guess, if people want to. 10 minutes and a cup of coffee, and the film's over, isn't it? In terms of getting the killer, you know. There's not much. What do you call it? There's not much. I hope I'm speaking loudly enough. I haven't got a microphone set up here, but I'm going to work on that. And it's the lighting guy's day off. I've still got the fairy lights up, so that's pretty good. We will get into it at some point. 18 people. Oh my goodness. I always get stage fright because on this system, it's called StreamYard, it's the one with the duck in it, on the picture of a duck that you see, it says like enter stage, go on stage. And so it's like a stage. Oh my God. I remember doing plays when I was a lot younger. I mean, like 30 years ago, 35 years ago. And you'd have like a 10-minute call, 5-minute call, and then have the call for beginners, and you get that kind of real buzz. All that kind of nervousness, you're ready to go, especially like the first night. But I haven't done any of that sort of stuff for 30 years or more, but so it takes you back a little bit. Good evening, Marcus. Marcus Harts. That's a great name, Marcus Harts. Harts sounds like Hertfordshire. I grew up in Bedfordshire, which is next to Hertfordshire. And to any of the 77th Brigade in, hi, great to have you as well. Mentioned to someone at the ducking stall on Twitter that I thought, you know, there's a little bit of organised trolling going on, perhaps. I think there could well be, but I don't want to get too paranoid. And if they're here, they're here, aren't they? You know, the Cracked Pot Christian, that's a brilliant name. I love that. Hello there, and hello all, and welcome. And thank you for turning up. I'm always amazed that anybody would, but it's extraordinary, isn't it? Extraordinary. I was going to mention about my wine catastrophe. I got this wine and it's got a cork. It had a cork in it, and I thought, I'll get my what do you call it? Not screwdriver. That's what I ended up using, a screwdriver. I've forgotten the word for it. Oh, I'm drinking a Reservoir Especial Cabernet Sauvignon, £8.50, but it was on an offer. It was originally more than that from the one-stop shop just down the road. It's quite nice. It feels quite strong. And at this meeting I went to at the Parish Council, corkscrew, that's the word. Thank you. Thank God for that. I can't remember simple words, but I couldn't find it. And I was going, oh my God, I've got to get into this bottle somehow. And I thought, I'll do the screwdriver thing, but it wasn't gripping. So I was trying to pull it out, but in the end I had to push it in. But I pushed it in with such force, I had this kind of fountain of wine come up in the kitchen, and the bottle was on the worktop, right? It's on the worktop, and it went everywhere, even hit the ceiling. There's all these like red patches on the ceiling, all down my jumper, which it's all like wet now because I was trying to get it off really quick. Hope this isn't too boring, but it was just alarming to me. And I thought, oh my God, I'm not only am I losing wine, everything is splattered. It made me think of blood, actually, because you think how much, this, it's a whole science, isn't it? Blood spatter. Watched a lot of programs about that, cast off things and things like that. It's a bit grim, I know, but 28 people. 28 people. So on the ceiling, I know, it's mad. What I did was I had the screwdriver and it wasn't gripping, so I couldn't pull it out. So I went like that, and then the cork is like floating in the wine now, but it sprayed up all over everywhere over me. right on the ceiling, right across the ceiling. And it's one of those kind of Artex ceiling. Yeah, it was wasting it. This is a bit grim. Some of it went over the worktop, and I sort of like sucking it up, which is, you don't need to know that. It's just terrible. I haven't got a problem or anything. It's just, I just hate waste. Blood, yeah, it is like a crime scene. It's do you know what it's like? It's crime scene to courtroom. So this is the crime scene, but when are we going to get to the courtroom? I don't know. Crime scene, absolutely. Hi, Patrick Bateman, love that name. It's as well. Love all these names, and you're great. It's great that you're here. I can't believe it. I'm very honoured and privileged. It'd be lovely to talk to some people if they want to add, as well as the great comments and people listening. Everything is appreciated. But you know, also, if people want to click on the old link that I got there, and they can join in. There's a few things happen. Claret's all over the. What was it? Claret all over the shop. There's claret all down his mug, something like that. Which is it's a euphemism for blood, isn't it? Or I don't know. It's not Cockney slang, is it? But it's a slang term. It's all claret all down his face. Claret. I don't think I have had a claret, but a long time ago. Quite nice. As you can see, I get a bit nervous, but just got to warm myself up a bit. So, how's your week been, everybody? Here, let me add some of the comments. I keep forgetting to do that. I want to make the script. How do I hide scenes panel? There's a. Oh, that's better. That's slightly bigger for me to look at. Claret everywhere in court when they arrest you. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I would like some. What do they call it? Witnesses to people's good name or something. You know, character witnesses. Character witnesses. If you hit the link, will it keep my profile hidden? I don't know. What you can do, you can opt to just speak, Kate. You can, if you don't have to. I mean, if you hit the link and come on, you've got the option of. It'll give you the option, I believe, of. It would just say Kate Eleanor, I believe. If you wanted to try it and see what it did, I can't guarantee anything because it's all quite new to me. Hi, Marcus again. Have you heard it? Oh, here we are. I haven't, but somebody else mentioned it on Twitter today, and I don't know what their source was, but they said they'd heard from somebody else. It's interesting that nobody picked that up. I was asked about it by a journalist, but I said and they understood perfectly, a lovely person, as it turned out, in a message, but I said I couldn't reveal the source, and I don't want to do that, obviously, because I don't know the first thing about journalism, of course, but I do know from watching dramas and documentaries that you're not meant to reveal sources, and obviously you're not, because you're letting people down, aren't you? Hi, Mary J, lovely to see you. Sorry if I've missed anybody out to say hi to. So that was the answer there. Yeah, be kind. We've got to be kind to ourselves. We do. And I was noticing that on Twitter today. I mean, people are getting like hammered by these trolls still. They're still coming up, still proliferating. And they're getting very, very personal and upsetting people and using information against people. But I mean, my approach now is just total block. Absolute, doesn't take anything. You know. Hi, Tom Rogers. Great to see you. Oh, it's old Hughes in the house, aka Tom Rogers. Hughes is in the house. Wouldn't it be good if he was? Well, kind of good, because I mean, you know, I don't think we're too happy with him, but well, no, not really, but maybe it is. Who knows? So Kate's there. Kate has just appeared, but you can just do the audio then. Shall I add you then, Kate? Shall I try it now? But anytime you want to drop out, don't worry, just drop out. And Hughes is in the house, so he's taking notes like a good officer should. Hi, Kate. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh.
Hello? Sometimes there's
Hello,
issues.
can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, perfectly. That's great. Lovely to hear you,
I
Kate.
can't hear anyone else.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Crikey.
Have you got like the head? I don't know.
Seconds.
There'd be more technical people here than me to advise Kate about. Have you got? I don't know if you're using phones or a headphone or anything like that. It's a bit tricky. I know. I find it. I can't believe I managed to do this. So Hughesy's in the house, and Patrick Bateman says Kate's just working on the audio stuff. I'm not going to watch the Unheard Circus Alternative. I didn't. I know some people did. Carl did a video about it called You've got your camera
I
on
can't
now.
hear anyone.
Can you hear us? I'll type some. Yeah. That's fair enough. Sometimes there's some technical glitches, and you can always give it another go. Patrick Bateman, no, I'm not going to. I know other people have. Carl did one. He said, I watched it, so you don't have to. Other people got something from it, and they also felt that there was a lot of positive vibe in the room in terms of the people questioning. So that was a good thing to hear. I don't want to watch it myself, but each to their own. Hughesy, aka Tom Rogers, says, it's a serious subject, but nothing wrong with a bit of light relief. We all need cheering up. British thing. I'm going to add. That's absolutely right. I mean, it's a long haul. It's a long haul, and there are there's absurdities here. And hi, Kate. I don't know if you can hear us now.
Hi. Sorry. Yes, I think I was having some problems. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, coming through loud and clear. I think great. That's fantastic.
Oh, excellent. I was trying to get a better avatar up, but I'm not sure how to do that, and I haven't ever gone on backstage with anyone before, so I'm a bit nervous. But happy to be here, Mark, and really lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you as well, Kate, and that's fantastic. Thanks so much for joining
Not
in.
Not at all. Dapper in your brown jacket, Mark.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I went out and I had to like mix with people a bit, so I'm trying to
Thought you dress up a bit.
Dress up a little bit and not look.
Why
like,
not?
Like I don't know what I usually look like, but not like nobody makes
your usual self, from what I've seen.
Yeah, like a sort of someone who's a bit like Boo Radley in what's that book?
Sorry, you had so many problems with your corkscrew. I actually it's a nightmare if you don't get it out the first time, the cork, because it can, it can flake it off, and then you can end up with cork-filled wine.
Well, it is. I've got little bits in it, but I'm sort of so glad that I've got to the wet.
You salvaged anything.
Yeah, I didn't have a corkscrew at all. You see, and I used a screwdriver, and I ended up having to push it through.
A screwdriver.
Yeah, and I'm looking for that. I keep one by my bed. There's nothing weird about it. Just it's just there. And
personal protection.
It is really, yeah. But see, that's the trouble. If the police listen to all this, it's like, I'm already probably down for that. I don't know what they'd say.
Well, just clear up before the morning, Mark. Even though you have many witnesses now, so
you got to. I did a rough. But they use that luminol stuff, don't they? They come into your.
Oh yes.
They use the luminol, then it all like glows like a Christmas tree.
Sure.
Robbo Max. Well, yeah, I don't know if wine activates with luminol in the same way that blood does.
I don't think so. I can't be sure. I'm not a crime tech, but hopefully not.
Absolutely. There's only one way to find out. I don't know. But, if I'm on my own here, there can't really be a crime happening other than this stream. But I don't think that is a crime. Although these days we've got to be careful what we say, don't we?
Absolutely. Don't speak too soon.
Absolutely. I'm going to keep up with the chat a little bit as well.
Yeah, keep up. I tried to see. I can't see it. So if you want to call out anything in chat, Mark.
Yeah, I will. So that you can hear it as well. Hi, sure. Jobo. Hi, Joe. Hi, Joan. Joan Gordon as well. Love from Dover. That's great.
Great.
Brilliant.
You're in the West Country, Mark, aren't you? You're down in the West Country.
Yeah,
I'm in the South. Yeah, I'm on the South Coast.
Oh, right. You're on the South Coast. So
yeah,
I'm not near the coast exactly. I think where's the nearest coast? Might be Burnham or something like that. Burnham on Sea, and the other way it would be down towards West Bay, I think. And what's that other one with what's that other town with the Cobb? They call it the Cobb. What's that called again? with the French woman that was in it.
What, Rebecca du Maurier, Daphne du Maurier.
It's like that because it's a romance thing, but it's not. It's called oh god, it's not something Spa. It's Lyme Regis.
Oh, I know. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I'm just outside of Brighton, so we're
right. Fantastic.
yeah, Brighton and Worthing, halfway in between. So it's nice though.
It is nice down there. I used to go to Brighton quite a bit, and where I grew up in Bedford, I grew up there. There was a train you could take that went through St Pancras, and it ended up in Brighton. That was that trip, like about 3 hours or something from where I grew up.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but
Carry on with chat.
Yeah, so Jobo says, thanks, Elena. That's great to see you, and thanks so much for coming on here, and thanks for everybody else for being here as well. So Joe says, hi Mark, I love the bit where they counted the people who thought she was guilty, about 2, compared with the innocent, the rest. Oh right, so that's going back to the unheard thing. So there was only like 2. So I mean so in a sense that's a bit of a barometer, isn't it, of where we are now, I think, perhaps. So that's really good. There, I think Joe's referring to the other. I've got it up there on the screen, haven't I? Joe's referring to the unheard thing, which I wasn't too keen about, but who cares what I think about that? But the thing is, they got the audience there. Only 2 of them are saying that they think Nurse Lucy Letby is guilty, which is a good sign that we've turned the corner here. I'm going to put the link in again in case anybody else wants to join us. We can have a maximum.
Come and join us. It's Friday night.
Join us. That reminds me.
Join us. We're lonely.
It's a film as well. They come join us like a cult.
I know. Come hither. I haven't, in all honesty, been keeping too much up to date. I don't know if there's too much going on in the Lucy Letby trial. I think I wanted to say just one thing. I hope you don't mind, Mark.
No, please go ahead. Please.
I can't be certain because I'm not, for want of a better expression, I'm not God. I don't know if she's innocent or guilty. I just know that when I first started watching your channel, it dawned on me day by day that guilty or innocent, the factual evidence was very, very, it was suspicious at best.
It was, wasn't it? It was, and they acknowledge, they say it's all circumstantial, but it's this the idea that they join up these circumstantial dots, if you will, to tell this story. But since that, they keep backtracking, and all this, even whether it's Evans or other commentators that are on the anti-Nurse Lucy Letby side, they kind of start saying, oh, it's not about statistics. And then you've got the judge saying, oh, well, it's not about the precise act anymore, about what happened. So it all begins to fall apart. It's all fallen apart in front of the world's eyes.
What is it? Yes, what is it about then? Because without, in
a sense, I think what it ends up being about is what it resolves to is what you end up with that group of consultants where they were at. In other words, it's all their vague hunch turning into a campaign of prosecution, and it's never gone beyond there, except for having Evans there to kind of underwrite them. I think
marking their own homework.
Exactly.
I think it's gone from my mind. That's the thing that has always troubled me the most, is that had Lucy not pushed the point, if you like, or asked for, however I want to explain it, but asked for the tribunal, that they would have cut her loose.
100%. I think many people think that. I've always thought that. I know a lot of people do think that. In a way, I know it's impossible retrospectively to prove it, but I think all the signs were that they would have done that. I believe so. So. It's just, they step up the game. They step up their intentions when they're creating that report. Now we've got that email that's come out. I'll just say hello to a few people come in recently.
Yes, of course.
Hi, but I absolutely agree with you, Kate. I think a lot of people do as well. Hi, Janice. From Yapton. Oh, Yapton.
Oh wow.
I've heard of Yapton.
It's on the sea.
It's on the sea. Is it? Long history of harbouring smugglers here. And one time, oh, he was a good swimmer, wasn't he? He was the one with that. He didn't have any hair, is it? Not.
Oh, that's right.
That's how I remember him. But he was a very good swimmer. Was he an Olympic swimmer, Duncan Goodyear?
Yes, I believe he was, Mark. Yes. Yes, I believe so.
Hi, Tom Evans as well. And sorry if I'm missing anybody else. Hi, Joan, Robbo Max.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Simone, bookbinder.
Hi.
Yeah. Do we know any more about brewery and garden leave? Yeah. I've not heard anything else confirmatory or otherwise. I'm going with what was said to me. I think when I was speaking to a friend about this, it's the idea that they felt there's a ring of steel around that hospital now in terms of what information they're going to let out. People are worried about talking, I'd imagine. So there's going to be some back channel stuff, and that's how it kind of got to me in a kind of a staged way. But I won't say anything more than that about it. But you can imagine that people working there are very concerned about saying anything, as they always have been, really.
There's a culture of fear in the NHS. Excuse me.
It's a culture of fear. It's a culture of fear. So that's
do it our way or leave. Right. So they don't have that in Australia. Australians are much more laid back, and if it's the temperature.
Yeah. Have you lived in Australia, Kate?
No, but my father emigrated there when he was a young man. He had to come home, but I just noticed that they're much more willing to be whistleblowers, or to, they don't seem to have this. I don't know if it's the English nature, or if it's the fact that we've got the NHS. I can't be sure.
It's really interesting that, because there's that story of an anaesthetist, Dr. Bolsin, that he was the whistleblower in the Bristol hospital. When he blew the whistle, he became then persona non grata with the NHS. Nobody would hire him, and he had to go to, I think it was either Australia or New Zealand, before he could get some work.
Oh, yes.
There's a brilliant interview with him online about that, and he said when he does end up in either, I think it was Australia, it might have been New Zealand, but whichever one.
Yeah.
At the interview, they said, that's the reason we want to hire you, that you put the patients first.
Oh, I remember you talking about that. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's an incredible story. But you would have think,
No, because I think it's the English way. It's stiff upper lip, and we keep it all in house. We don't need any trouble. Yes. Don't rock the boat, Mark.
Don't rock the boat, and also don't kind of show us up, or you've kind of stepped outside the rules in some way. They're like an unwritten rule that, well, how else?
Yeah.
How was he going to do it? He made many attempts, Dr. Bolson, because young children were dying, weren't they? And these particular group, 2 or 3 different surgeons, were doing procedures that they weren't trained to do, and they weren't competent to do. That was the story there.
Shocking.
They were dying, so that was the level he was trying to deal with. And hi, Bob Truther. So all the consultants I've ever met have been some of the most arrogant pigs I've ever come across. Creepy and aloof. Yeah, you do get that kind of.
Well, feeling. Quite right. It does breed it, Bob. It does breed it.
Gosh. And then Robbo Max says, does anybody know how many there were in the unheard trial audience, the jury who voted? I don't know. Who was it who said about the figures back there? Hi, Tom Evans. Hi, somebody. I'm trying to look back. Who gave us the? Joe said. So everybody voted, but only 2 compared with the rest. But I don't know how many were there. I don't know if Joe knows, if she wants to put it up there, or if anybody wants to come on. Hi, Rosie Setchell. Hi, David Bentley. Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Rosie.
Loads of people.
Talking just quickly, Mark, about and something that was just said about these consultants. There was a similar case. It was a few years back, and they found that the consultant had been, and I mean, just take your mind there for a minute. signing his name on the liver of the.
Yeah,
You heard it? Yeah.
absolutely. I know that story. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, the arrogance, the shit. I mean, it's not enough. The money he's earning, the career, the good fortune.
Yeah,
He's got to sign his own initials on poor patients' liver. It did take people did whistleblow that, but it took a hell of a long time for it to come out.
they did. I kind of well, I did follow it in the sense that I know he was reported to the GMC, but he wasn't struck off in the end. He was allowed to return to his duties with a kind of a little slapped wrist or whatever you'd call it. But he got away with it.
The judge was furious with him. The judge was furious, Mark. I think he did see. Yeah. I think he was in such a specialised field, and this is not to exonerate him or to mitigate or to minimise his wrongdoing, but he was in such a specialist field, and he was about the only person, if not one of two, that could do the work he could do.
Yes.
So it was almost a bit of a quid pro quo, you know, but he was exposed.
He definitely was exposed, because I remember reading an article in which one of the people that she said, I couldn't believe it when I found out there was obviously some kind of X-ray or whatever it was, and you could see this guy's he'd signed his work or something. It's just hideous.
Yes. Oh, I know.
Kind of psychopathic. Weird. I know.
I think so. I think so. I think it's just it's a kind of like secret little gotcha moment.
It's almost like, I don't know, it's something, talk about, I don't mean witchcraft as in people being falsely accused of witch, but it's something, it's something, I don't know what word to use, it's something dark about doing that, isn't it? It's something like,
horrifying. Yes, because you're putting it back in their body and they have no way of knowing.
Exactly. It's like saying, I was here, isn't it? I was here. And
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter territory. That's exactly right. So, Robert Max, I'm not sure how many in the audience. Has anybody answered that? Good evening, Tim Blackwood. Anybody else would like to come on and join Kate and myself? Please, you're all welcome. You can have up to 6 people here, apparently.
Come join us. Come join us for Friday night. Mark's hosting a Friday night drinks party.
the host
mind the wine, though. He's chucked the cork in with it.
Yeah, but hopefully you brought some of your own. I saw this lovely lady.
Mark.
I hope so, and maybe some shots.
What sort of party are you running? Bless you.
Yeah. So Janice is here as well. So Janice used to work. Let me put that note up there. Janice Bryan says, I used to work as a patient's advocate in an organisation now abolished that was an NHS watchdog. Right. Not good experience of consultant. So that's another personal point of view. Right. There is that organisation called PALS, PALS. I've had a lot to do with them about another matter. I don't know if anybody's heard of PALS at all.
Yes, patient and liaison service, isn't it?
It is. I had a lot of dealings with them. But Tom Evans says here, out of interest earlier, I looked up what was the longest trial in American history. It also turned out to be a mass delusion satanic panic case. That's interesting. That's interesting because we're looking at...
Which case is that, Tom, I wonder?
Yeah, I'd like to know which one that was as well. And so Tom goes on to say, doesn't suggest that a long trial means safe, as some have suggested. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Especially not when you consider the level of detail of medical, and you've got 12 people off a bus stop, as you know, they often say. Yeah. Chuck them in the jury, subject them to weeks without, their usual routine, and throw all of that in, very detailed medical science in front of them. I'd be bewildered.
I would be as well, and it's huge. I mean, people have talked about that element of it, that the jury are swamped in a sense because of all the cases that they've got to deal with. I don't know what you feel, Kate, and what everyone in the chat and everyone listening feels as well, that if there had been individually case by case, I don't think a single one of them would have stood up at all. They wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have.
Well, I think you were right when you in your earliest videos, Mark, when they they got the train running, and the train got running via the whole business of the insulin cases, which were never properly tested, and that then led. It was like a snowball effect, an erroneous snowball running downhill in terms of the legality.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I mean, without those, I mean, even Evans in his early interviews says something to the effect of, "Oh, and now we could prove it," or something like that, or now we could show that it was going to go forward. So that suggests, even from him, the main man, he's kind of saying, well, without it, we wouldn't have been to do anything, and it's just bizarre, isn't it?
I think you're right. How can you put forth? I don't know if it would have been allowed in America. I'm not certain, but there's that it's called cumulative effect, isn't it? It's cumulative.
It is a cumulative effect, and it's swamping the jury in the sense that, I mean, they're just punch drunk in a way, and not to mention the whole thing, the disparity between having, I don't know what it was, 8, 9, whatever it was, not professional witnesses, expert witnesses vis-a-vis one professional witness. I think that's the term. He's Plummer. He's a professional witness rather than an expert witness. I'm just gonna. So Simone Bookbinder says, "Did you watch the Unheard event? Christopher Snowden was awful. I don't know if other people have watched it. I can imagine he was awful. I can imagine he's awful 24 hours a day." But that's just I hate it. But I'll ask the priest for forgiveness.
Say it ain't so, Mark. Say it ain't so.
So Joe says, it was me, I recorded it. If you look back and do a proper hand count, it might have been, there was a vast contrast. I mean, that in and of itself, however many were there, it's a percentage. Mervyn's in the house to join us now.
Oh, lovely.
So here's Mervyn joining
company.
us. And we can
Hi, Mervyn.
Hi,
hello.
Mervyn.
Hi, all right.
You all right?
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Who's your guest? Sorry, Mark, I've just come in all
so
bull in a china shop.
Everybody's welcome. So no, absolutely great to see you. Kate Eleanor is here, who I've been speaking to online.
Hi, Mervyn. Hiya.
Hi, Kate.
Hiya. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Awesome. I did watch that Unheard.
Oh, what did you make of it?
Because I mean, I didn't pay for it. Don't worry.
How did you manage it? How did you get? How did
Free streamed it?
No, I've got some software that will get me through any sort of paywall.
Oh, that's fantastic! That's brilliant. Not for that.
Okay,
but...
just put your email in the chat, Mervyn, and let us all know how we all do that.
Well, I'll send you an email later. But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was just 4 people talking, and to be honest, Mark, it was no better than our live streams when we have like some quality guests on.
Which we've got tonight, but I know what you. But we also have, and we have.
Mervyn, I hope I don't disappoint you.
It's all good. I think it's all good, isn't it? It's all gravy.
Someone else to
disappoint
me.
But like you said, we have Operation Merlin Falcon, his ex-law enforcement. We have Jenny coming on as well, who's obviously a nurse of medical background, and other people as well. I can't list everyone. My memory's going a bit, but lots of people. Jonathan, obviously, who was a doctor and an expert witness himself.
Oh yeah, I like Jonathan as well.
So there's loads of people that have come on, but the ordinary Joe public like myself, because I'm not an expert in anything.
Well, neither were they. That's the thing. Exactly. One of them looked like some sort of GCSE student and had the charisma of one to boot. And sorry, bear with me.
That's all right.
So it works cool. 1 moment.
That's like no worries.
That's okay, Lazar.
GCSE student. That's funny. I think I saw you say that somewhere. That was good.
GCSE student. I did O levels, so that I'm dating myself now.
I did O levels as well, and then I left school 16. But I think
Did you really?
GCEs were just coming in.
Yes,
Anyway,
me too. It was the last year of O levels. Yes.
yeah.
But I'm not an expert in anything. I feel like I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Same here. I'm not even a jack of them, but I'm a
you're just the 10, not the jack.
probably like a 6 on a good day.
Don't put you. If it weren't for you, Mark, and I wouldn't know about this case. I literally began listening to your videos, and something about them just gripped me. And by the end of it, I was subscribing to Private Eye, organising my 91-year-old father to purchase it for me, much to his chagrin.
Wow,
Yes,
that's great to hear, because the Private
Eye
have done really well
on it. I really appreciated their article. And my dad's, I remember he sat and watched it in a churchyard near to where we live. And at the end of it, he said, "Well, I can't find her guilty, Kate."
And may I ask you, Kate, what do you say your father? Your father?
Yes, my father. Yes, 91.
Does he have a particular background in terms of, not that he needs to have, but does he have like an analytical kind of mind or a different background?
Oh, very. He's very, very intelligent. He's too intelligent for his good, his own. Well, I don't know if you can be too intelligent, but he has a very analytical mind. He's well educated, and he reads a tremendous amount. And I was chatting to him endlessly that summer when the case was actually going on, and then after I found your channel, I literally would bombard him, and it would be the next update, and until he was finding the articles himself as well, because he became interested, and he said I think he was really shocked at how
it is shocking. I just want to welcome Carl to the screen. He's come up here. Hi, Carl. Hope you're doing well.
Hello.
Hey, Carl.
Hiya.
I'm good, thanast.
Hiya.
Great. Nice
I haven't got my party face on, so you guys are braver than me. Women are vain anyway. But at least that's me, not everyone. But
I'll be putting my mascara on a bit later.
Don't forget your blusher, love, innit?
I used to do that. I went through a phase of putting like eyeliner on it. I just could never do it very well. I always used to poke myself in the eye doing it.
Was that
it's an art form to do it, Mark.
I'm not going to start it again.
Was that back in the 80s?
Well, it wasn't the 80s. I was in my 40s at the time, and I thought, what the hell am I doing? But I don't know. It's a bit of a breakdown of some sort, I think. But anyway.
That's that midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis. But I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone. I'm sorry if I'm not saying hello to everyone. Topsy Turvy, hi. Janice, Topsy Turvy, Tom, Marianne Lamore. God, we've got 65 people in the house at the moment. But I understand, Carl, that I know Mervyn saw it, and I believe you saw it as well. I saw your video.
Yeah, I did watch it. I just somehow stumbled into the video in that. Obviously, I clicked on all the bits to watch the video, and then it offered me the opportunity to pay them £3, and I just pressed the back button on the browser, and it just opened the video and started playing, and it played it all the way through to the end.
without paying the £3, so you just got it for
without paying it. Yeah, without paying a penny.
Well, that's great, because I think Mervyn, I don't know if you heard him, you got it for free as well, didn't you? So they're down £6 anyway. That's really, at least.
We'll probably get the bailiffs. We'll get the bailiffs knocking on the door at the weekend.
Well,
you paid really.
Yeah.
You paid really.
Oh yeah. For the 77th Brigade that are in tonight,
this is just for this is for entertainment purposes only. This live stream.
It's all entertainment. It's all opinion.
I'm happy to say I didn't pay. I'm very proud of the fact that I didn't pay.
I don't get ads on YouTube either. I've never seen an advert on YouTube.
God,
no!
To everything. How are you doing it, Mervyn?
I'll do a little guide for you. I'll send it.
I know I've got an email to write.
These guys.
Have you got a way of avoiding ads as well, Carl?
No, I said it would be nice if he sent me his guide. As
Oh,
well.
sorry, beg your pardon. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that, because it, I don't mind an ad at the beginning and maybe one in the middle, but when you get a video, it's like 50 minutes long and it's an ad every 4 minutes, it just gets.
I don't know. No.
You wouldn't know. You never had it.
It's terminal on YouTube. It's ad after ad after ad after ad. Unless you pay $12.99. You what, darling?
One trick I learned to avoid ads on YouTube is if you watch a YouTube video on WhatsApp. So if you send yourself a link to a video on WhatsApp, then watch it on WhatsApp. You don't get the video.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
You don't get the ads. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh. So you download the video on YouTube, send it to yourself, or share it.
You just get the link.
No, you just share it.
Yeah, you share it on WhatsApp. If
yeah.
You share it on WhatsApp and watch it on WhatsApp within the WhatsApp browser. It doesn't the WhatsApp app. It doesn't.
Ah.
Yeah, I think
there's a hack.
A few other ways like that.
There's a lot of hacks about. I just saw Jonathan sort of appeared and then he went away again. Maybe it's a technical thing, but he may be coming on as well. I can always dip out of this as well. You can have 6 people talking at a maximum on this thing I've got here on the StreamYard.
Well, if anyone else wants to come on, Mark, I can leave because I'm just happy to say hi and chit chat.
Fantastic, you're here.
I will try and get my party face on next time.
Great,
yeah,
no, that's fantastic. Yeah, I've got. I think.
Awesome.
No, I think I'm always amazed. I don't know how you feel, Carl, because you've been doing the lives as well. When people people suddenly start appearing, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I've done lives, I've not done them on StreamYard. I've just done them on YouTube, and it doesn't give you. I don't think it gives you the facility to add anyone. So I've just done it on my own with people commenting.
Yeah, no, that works really well. But have you checked out the StreamYard? Because this is what I'm using. It's a free package at the moment. You only get a maximum number of hours in a month. Yeah. I don't know when that ends, but and then you can have like 6 people on the screen at any one time chatting.
I did.
What's the name of your channel? If you don't mind me asking, I can't see your name. Sorry, you're not showing.
Myself.
What's the channel's name that you run?
It's According to Carl in the UK.
Okay, I'll just make a note as I have a brain that doesn't want to help me.
That's a fantastic channel, Kate. Please, subscribe.
Yeah, according to Carl.
According to Carl.
In the UK.
Carl, in the UK, yeah. Got you.
Yeah,
thank you, Carl.
There's also like Operation Merlin Falcon, Tea Break with Tasha, Black Squareable, Dr. Richard Gill.
I love him.
Maybe others. Jay.
And there's Mervyn here as well. Is it Mervyn Pervin, isn't it?
Yeah, Mervyn.
Mervyn, I thought you were joking there, Mark.
I'm not trying to be funny, but it is what it is.
Well, it's very like you got out the back of that. Jesus.
A liberated mind. Has anybody checked out a liberated mind? I love a liberated mind video.
It's every Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, really. And I love the way how he dresses beautifully, and I love that. I don't do that. I should dress better.
So someone told me the big square.
You have a very nice brown jacket on.
Someone told me the big square thing in the back with the tablecloth over is his fridge. Really? I can't watch the show now without seeing a fridge in the back.
It could be, but he's done some amazing stuff on Liberated Mind. I don't know the gentleman's name, but he's just brilliant, and he's done this stuff on Goss's Summing Up. He's gone into every bit of it. He goes into. I think a Liberated Mind. I think he's got some legal history or legal knowledge, isn't he? Because the way he goes into it, I believe so.
That's pretty cool.
To your point, though, I know exactly what you're saying. I tend to watch the surroundings around me. I remember watching the first early videos of Mark's, and I kept thinking, he hasn't got a lampshade. Why hasn't he got a lampshade?
I have now. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to have to tip it up. Yeah, there we are.
They are.
You're going to have
And I couldn't. I was so busy watching it. I had to keep rewinding the video to even hear what he was saying because I was just fixated by this lampshade not happening. Dear me.
Kind of it's like a Harold Pinter play type of thing. So you've got this like
Yeah.
like that, you know.
There was just this bowl hanging down. I was thinking, this is so terrible. Why is he?
Why am I doing it?
Why are you doing it, Johnson? I'm joking, Mark. You actually got one.
I'm trying to convey realism, and it's stark, and it's kind of a bit.
Oh yes, very much so.
Well, you're going to have a field day with me with my Taylor Swift calendar behind me, changing each month.
Is that Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Is that Taylor Swift on the wall there?
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, right. You're a Swiftie then?
I am. Yeah. I am a Swiftie.
Dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I could tell you one song by her. It's out of my era.
I like the one she did, "Shake It Off." I thought that was good. That's her, isn't it? Shake It Off.
But you're going back a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I liked her earlier work, is what I'm saying. Before she joined the Illuminati, like they always do. I don't know.
Anyway, back to the.
I like Miley Cyrus anyway. If that helps.
Miley Cyrus, yeah.
She's got a beautiful voice.
Montana, and then she changed into some of them thing.
Her father is currently dating Liz Hurley, which blew my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
Cyrus, yeah. He's a
Liz Hurley.
Yes, I'm not surprised. She was going out with Shane Warne, wasn't she? Was that the right one?
Was, at one point, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Shane Warne, the cricketer.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Hasn't he passed away?
But yes, he's died sadly. But yeah, prior to him dying, yeah, she was. I think she was responsible for getting him some hair back and things like that.
I thought you were about to say she was responsible for him dying.
Oh God.
Oh no, I can't go that dark. Not that I know of. No comment.
Oh gosh, he died quite young, didn't he? Really, and
well, he did. I think he's about the same age as me. Actually, I'm 57.
He had a good innings.
Yeah, I'm 54. I think he was in his early 50s when he died.
Yeah,
wasted.
I think so. And he's a genius, wasn't he? You don't get too many geniuses.
Who are we talking about now? Sorry, the cricket guy.
Shane Warne.
Shane Warne, yeah.
I don't know if I'm keen on the idea of calling sports people geniuses.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not keen on the idea of.
Right.
What about George Best? George Best, and people called him a genius, didn't they?
Yeah, but I'm still not kind of keen on the idea of.
Do you need them to be a Nobel Prize winner? Is that what you mean?
I would call Eric Cantona a genius because he was a poet as well.
Yes.
Okay.
He's kind of a philosopher, isn't he? Yeah.
He's been nominated for awards. He's been nominated for BAFTAs and all sorts.
He did that. That was ages ago. When he did that flying kick into the crowd. Yeah. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he single-handedly kicked racism out of football.
He did,
and it's it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, for a few years he did because all the supporters was terrified after he did that. Seriously, it died down. All the sort of like name calling players died down for about 2 or 3 years.
And they used to do the cryptic comments in interviews. You say like the herrings are following the fishing boat or something like that, wasn't it? Come out with that philosophical statement.
So I think he was a genius, and I think Kenny Dalglish is probably borderline genius. He's a very intelligent bloke, not just a player and a manager.
I suppose, I'm using it in the broadest sense of genius, in the sense of have an ability that far exceeds anything that they could have ever been trained in.
Yeah, there's something. I don't know,
a bit of a Ronnie O'Sullivan in the snooker. I mean, you wouldn't automatically go to genius, but there is something there that just is different somehow. It's just different.
I think the thing is, if you follow things like the Williams sisters, like I don't know if you watched the film about the Williams sisters, but I mean, even before I saw that film, I knew about them, and I met their father actually at the Australian Open in about 2001, and spoke to him briefly. And
Yeah.
you know, they were way ahead of in 2001. They were way ahead of all the other tennis players,
Yeah.
and it was because of his determination to turn them into the best tennis players in the world. They didn't have those skills. He taught them those skills. So
Yeah.
he was the genius. They were not the geniuses. They were just people who benefited from his genius. Just like the
Yeah,
players,
it's an interesting point.
a lot of the players at Manchester United benefited from the genius of Alex Ferguson. They weren't like David Beckham wasn't a genius. Ryan Giggs wasn't a genius. They had Alex Ferguson.
Oh, I wouldn't call David
trained
Beckham or Ryan Giggs geniuses.
Well, I wouldn't, but I'm just saying
No.
Alex Ferguson turned them into the best players in their position in the whole
I
world.
hear what you're saying. Yeah, for me, I know. Yeah, it's a complex point, isn't it? At what point are you just on your own a genius, and what point do you need a genius to be with you, to be your genius self?
Well,
It's getting philosophical now.
I think a genius is someone who's able to pass on their trade or pass on their skills to other people, and turn other people into exceptional people. I think if you're unable to do that, then you're just a tool of a genius.
Yes.
If you look at the players who played under Alex Ferguson, none of them have become good managers. They've never turned any other player.
Two different skills, though. There is it, Mervyn. Mervyn, two different skill sets there, though. We know that.
It was Carl.
Oh, Carl. Sorry, Carl. So you can be a good footballer, but a terrible manager. You usually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people make good players. Like look at Zinedine Zidane, absolutely brilliant footballer.
Oh, he was great.
And an amazing manager. You know,
very rare. Two different skill sets. You're going to make me look him up now because they're so rare.
Zinedine Zidane is a genius because he understands the whole sport. He understands every aspect of football.
Got you. I'm gonna tick that box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, according to Carl in the UK. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah, it's all about our opinions, isn't it? It's like some people say about film directors, you know, as well. They're kind of they can get a lot out of certain actors that other people can't, you know. The guy who did Eyes Wide Shut, I keep forgetting his name.
David Lynch. It's not David Lynch.
No, and he did Paths of Glory. My memory is terrible.
I can't remember.
He did. He did so many great films. He did the one, The Shining, the Shining director.
That was
with the beard that some people say that he actually was the guy
who done the moon.
The moon thing. We could get into the moon. I don't know.
What's the moon thing?
It was the idea that
the moon and the stars.
he filmed the moon landing as kind of working for the government type of thing.
Oh, you mean they hired him? Oh, yeah.
They hired him to do it somewhere in some desert
to make it look like
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, well done. Well done.
In the chat.
Was that in the chat? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
He made some great movies, Stanley Kubrick. Didn't he do 2001?
Yeah,
Did he do Clockwork Orange?
I think he might have done it. Yes, he did.
I think he might have done too. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot. But he did that really old film called Paths of Glory with Kirk Douglas, who's got amazing about the First World War, and it's fantastic. Yeah, it's a great film.
But I don't remember it.
Yeah, he goes.
Talking about The Shining, I always think that moment of Jack Nicholson when he's typing, that was kind of a moment of genius.
Yeah.
You know, when he's typing, he's such a crazy mofo. No swearing on this channel. But you know, he was so crazy, and he personified craziness, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Jack a dull day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. The insanity.
I'm a big David Lynch fan, though.
Yeah, he's a. I mean, I've never seen that. What was that series that was on the TV that he did?
God,
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
I never saw it, but
God, you've got to watch it. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then when it came back, like a few years ago, they made a follow-up to it.
Right,
and
right.
and that was incredible because he was in it, and that was absolutely incredible.
I'd love to
Right.
watch. I've seen some interviews with David Lynch, and he seems a really very kind of gentle, considered person, very thoughtful person. I like watching interviews with him, but I haven't seen Twin Peaks, or like he did a film called Mulholland Drive. That's supposed to be good
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
good. That's brilliant. And he also did Blue Velvet. Have you ever seen Blue Velvet?
I haven't seen it. No, I
Oh
need to
my
catch
god,
up with this one. Yeah.
that's a crazy.
Is that the one with? Is that? No, I'm getting confused. Mulholland Drive.
It's
I'm
kind of
writing
very-
these down.
It's very similar to Twin Peaks, but like a movie in a movie form. It's very, very similar.
Yeah.
Sinister movie.
One of his early films was Eraserhead, wasn't it? Which is very weird.
Eraserhead blew my mind. I remember watching it as a kid because I must have been like, was it 1970s or 80s it came out?
I think it's 70s. I think it's late 70s or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I watched it as a kid. I might have been like a teenager, like 12,
Yeah.
13. I watched it one Friday night, and it scared me, and it blew my mind as well. And I became addicted. That was the first film I ever saw by him, and I just became an addict.
What was the name of it?
Eraserhead, isn't it? I just looked at it. It was 1977. 1977.
Yeah. Oh, I'd have been young, but my mum was addicted to those films. I just recently watched The Thing again. The Thing with Kirk. I can't think of his surname.
Russell.
Kirk Russell. That's it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
The Thing.
That is brilliant.
That was so.
Absolutely
It is brilliant. It is. You're right. It was so awesome. I couldn't believe they never ran out of whiskey, not once.
Yeah.
Is that film The Thing? They're on an ice station, like a bunch of scientists. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yes, that's it. And they've
haven't
always
they
got
remade it?
plenty of. Oh, what? Sorry. They've got all that fuel to put out all the things all the time. They never run out of the essential items, as though they were expecting it all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got to appreciate them for that.
I was going to say, have they remade The Thing? I wonder, because I'm sure they remade it, didn't they? At some point.
No, I saw the original.
Yeah, I've seen the original. I've never seen a remake.
Yeah.
But I think.
No, I don't know.
Some talk of a remake.
John Carpenter. Yeah, that's right, Patrick. John Carpenter. Absolutely.
John Carpenter.
Part of a trilogy. Oh, that's good to know.
Oh yeah, Simone. But by
Simone.
December, Dr. McConville's a genius. I'd agree with that. He's a great guy as well.
Yeah,
Brilliant
Michael
guitarist. Have you ever seen Dr. McConville play the guitar? He plays electric guitar. If you subscribe to his channel, it's fantastic.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah, he's amazing. Electric guitar player.
Wow.
Yeah, does a solo. Yeah.
I didn't know it was on YouTube.
Yeah, he's got a channel which is something like something like as in Stratocaster. Okay. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but no, it's interesting. I mean, it's good to talk about different subjects here because the kind of the weirdness of Eraserhead. I know it's a completely different kind of thing, really, but the whole thing about Nurse Lucy Letby is it's very weird. Everything's very strange. I find it. The further we go into it, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Really,
it does.
It's a weird world that we enter into.
Yeah. Just interested in I know Mark said it, but I just chatting with you two guys as well is the idea that there was going to be had she not pushed it to a tribunal, that they would potentially just cut her free and cut her loose and said, okay, here are your papers, be on your way. And if we were just running with the hypothesis that she was a guilty person, as they clearly believed, well, they say they do now, then, and she was working up in at the Countess of Chester, and then she lands down where I live, near Brighton, and there she is, and she shows up at the Royal Sussex, which is our local hospital, and thanks a lot for that.
Absolutely, I think if she'd have left, I don't think we would know. We wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't be talking to each other probably tonight. Just
no, it was all just a reaction to. We know it was all just a reaction to them having to go, Brewery and JR, and having to go to mediation.
Yeah,
and they just despised the mediation. That was the last straw for them.
It was a big deal for them, and they really, really hated it. It really pissed them off, and they were worried about it as well. Other people have said that when you reported to the GMC, you actually have to go on a kind of suspended status. So that, you know, they were concerned about that as well. But I don't know how true that is. Other people may need to confirm that. That, in other words, if there's a GMC complaining about you, do they suspend you? You know, if it's something like bullying, for example.
Yeah, Mark. But you know, you pointed out. I mean, at every stage or every meeting every month, there was a police officer ready and waiting there, should they wish to. You know, and yet even whichever way you want to slice this pie, it never comes out looking good.
Well, it doesn't. You've got the child death overview panel, like you say, with that police officer. I forget his name now. The one that's on that panel. Thank you, Wenham. So, like in July 2016, they could go to that. They could talk to him. August, September, October, November, all through that year. They don't do anything, you know.
And think, had she walked, because the pressure was so on her, the focus was on her. How does that square or tally with?
If she didn't even have to walk, if she just stayed doing the admin role that she'd been shafted in.
Yeah.
That's
one
true.
Too.
That's true. The island.
And then imagine it's crazy. They can't come out of this. Well, I say they can't, but they shouldn't be allowed to be. There should be. Did I hear at the beginning that they're on gardening duty? Is that true?
It's something that I've heard. I'm not going to say who's told me, because you know, you've got to sort of protect who told you this sort of thing. But it's something that I've heard. And it's something that then I put a video out about and said on Twitter as well. People have said,
Mark spread the rumor.
I've spread the rumor, but it's not a rumor. But I mean, if I thought it was a rumor, I wouldn't have done it. But
yeah, no one's denied it, have they?
I've had some pushback on it, and people have said, "Oh, it's a load of bollocks. You're trying to get clicks or something." That's not what I'm about at all.
Oh yeah, of course, Mark. Of course you are. Yeah, Robbo here makes a good point. 100%. It was to cover their own arse and get revenge for her making a complaint. I mean, that has to factor in. You have to factor that in, because if they were truly dedicated doctors, then it would be their duty to report such matters and not just reassign her, or I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Of course, Mark. It's your own show.
Oh,
no, I think it's Carl speaking.
Oh, Carl.
That's all right.
No, I attended Thirlwell on the days when they interviewed Ian Harvey and Tony Chambers. And what was very interesting is they spoke quite extensively about the fact that they, first of all, they didn't believe that there was any evidence that she had done anything wrong, and that they had insisted that that Breary and Jairam apologized to her. And they actually, I think I can't remember if it was Ian Harvey or Tony Chambers, but they basically implied that them pushing these, basically threatening these guys with referral to the GMC, if they didn't apologize to her, triggered them escalating the matter to the police without permission from Tony Chambers or Ian Harvey.
Yeah,
they went above Tony
Chambers
and Ian Harvey and escalated it. So that was their get out. That was their only get out. If they didn't apologize to her, the only way they could get out of it, getting into trouble, was to get her arrested. That was the only way they were going to avoid being struck off or suspended by the GMC.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says it. Tony Chambers says in the meeting, you know, you go. This is I'm drawing a line here. You don't go beyond it, basically, and then they went beyond it to the extent that they end up getting rid of Chambers and Harvey. They push them out as well. Yeah, they end up going.
Yeah, so if I'm reading you right, you think there's a direct correlation between not just the fact that they were pissed with her, for want of a better word, but you know, for her actually complaining. But then, sorry, my hay fever is really bad with allergies. But at the same time, you think that had they not then escalated it, they could have faced serious repercussions.
Yeah, they were in trouble. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it was confirmed by Tony Chambers and Ian Harvey that they were in trouble. They were facing something quite serious, and a lot of it came from the questioning, because after the barristers all, because like basically at the Thirlwell, all different parties from the Royal College to the CQC and everyone has their own barristers there, and they all get to question everybody who
Yeah.
has to give evidence. And so after all that questioning, then Lady Thirlwell has her questions. So she cross-examined them as well. And it's when, I think it was when Lady Thirlwell cross-examined them, she wanted some clarity on the events and the sort of domino effect that led to them going to the police. And so she was actually quite probing. I mean, I was quite impressed with her questioning at the
Yeah.
time. Yeah. But I think she got answers she didn't probably want. But she certainly got those answers.
So it was your impression then that the answers were that once it had been escalated and they had been made to apologise, that they I'm a bit unclear about at what point they were threatened with if this is what you say it is, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I think it was literally they had a meeting with Ian Harvey and Tony Chambers after they had been told by the HR department that they had to write a letter of apology to Lucy Letby. And I think one of them, I think Jerem did a letter and Brewery refused to do a letter.
Well, with Jairam, he had a face-to-face. I mean, there should have been like a face-to-face apology, and Jairam is the only one that did the face-to-face.
And
but the other ones wouldn't do any face-to-face stuff. You know?
Yeah, and I think they were given a deadline. You've got to apologise by tomorrow morning.
They did all eventually sign the letter.
Yeah, they signed the letter. They signed the letter, but they wouldn't make it like a personal one-on-one apology. You know.
Yeah.
Not apart from Jairam, and then Nurse Lucy Letby says, but this is kind of like really poignant, really, that she says to him, but are you happy for me to be coming back? She wanted their good opinion.
Yes.
And he goes, well, if they're Jairam basically goes, well, if they're bringing you back, then I'll have to work with you, kind of thing. He's kind of like a bit mean about it, but he just said, well, I'll just have to do it, you know.
Got to put up with you.
Yeah, I've got to kind of put up with you type of thing. But he doesn't give because they're still on that mission. They're still on the mission that they were on from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so could it have ended there? Could that have been the end of it?
I don't know. Tom Evans has raised this question. If they had have given into it, but I think they were shamed in a way. But Tom Evans says we can debate whether they genuinely did believe it, and I
think they could trick themselves into thinking they believe it. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
You know, you can when people do nasty things, they will. Yeah. They can convince themselves, can't they? Especially when it's in their interest. You know, if going one route is gonna be good for you, and another one isn't, they're gonna lean towards that way, and they're gonna try and convince themselves.
And they're hitched to it. They're invested in it because, and this is where we come into what are they responsible for in terms of the deaths of individual children, and there's that element to then consider, I think, in terms of Baby O, in terms of Baby K, and maybe even going back into 2014, as I know OMF talks about a lot, back to Baby Noah as well. So there's this whole chain of involvement in potential medical errors that they know they're part of, or they should know they're part of, you know.
Or that they're part of a hospital system that's so underfunded and so below standard that they're part of that. I'm not trying to throw them too many bones here, by the way.
But then you have to see, where's their sense of responsibility? Apart from Alison Timmis, why aren't they going to management saying, we're running an unsafe unit here, like she's put in her email?
They weren't there that often, Mark, to worry about it, though, were they, really?
Well, that's a further strike against them as well, then. If they've got to know that, they're conscious of that, yeah?
Yes.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Mervyn, there? Sorry.
The CQC report and the RCPCH report, I think they both criticised leadership.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
And the lead, and who are the leads? The neonatal lead was Steve Breary. The clinical lead was Ravi. I don't think they didn't name them individually, but they just said they kept pointing at leadership problems.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And,
Yes, they were never there. They wouldn't help the junior doctors. They were throwing the junior doctors under the bus.
yeah, that's true as well. I mean, but wouldn't they, as leading pediatric lead and neonatal lead, wouldn't they be saying, we've got to have a meeting with management. We're not able to cope with the acuity of babies that we're getting in, and we're letting them down. That was part of their duty, and they didn't do it. Alison Timmis did that in the email, but then in Thirlwall, that Alison Timmis email gets reduced to, "Oh, we were just busy," because you don't get Lady Thirlwall saying, "What do you mean here? Children are going to die." She doesn't. They don't explore that. They don't explore that email in depth.
No. We get terrible.
It's just so I don't know. It's such a mess.
It's almost a bind, isn't it? So a double bind, whichever way you look at it. It's like if one thing didn't it's all interdependent. It's all everything's dependent upon the other thing happening, and there was no clear one. No one was taking responsibility.
Yeah, and there's this kind of, like, I've used the image of the train. There's this train leaving the station, and once it gets going and once it gets hitched to the police, then you've had it then. I mean, because they can't walk it back. They can't say to the police, actually, no, we're not sure that she...
Oh, yeah.
They're stuck. Yeah. They're kind of almost like they're hostage to it then, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
They should do it, but they won't do it, would they? They're not going to do it then.
It's a very serious allegation to bring up against a young female nurse in her early parts of her career. If you're not sure, I mean, you've got to wonder what the mechanics of the brains were. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that, and to bring a allegation like that against her with no evidence, no what would you call it? No physical evidence, no
direct evidence,
direct or eyewitness evidence, just an assumption based on statistics.
But were framed in a way so that there was no get out of jail card for the jury.
What annoys me the most is this whole attempted murder idea, where if and they're saying like overfed or injected with it. If she was genuine, if there was a genuine murderer amongst the nurses, all they would have to do is write that they fed the baby but didn't feed it. Because they're so fragile. Because they're so fragile, all you've got to do is not look after it, instead of doing something bad to it.
Yeah, it's kind of a negative thing.
Yes. So those are two separate things. Yes,
that's all she would do. That and obviously, she didn't do anything like that. The whole thing is just ridiculous. The whole notion of attempting to murder a 30-week-old baby. Who is gonna fail? I mean, come on.
There's parts of Evans's testimony in which, and it's listed even in the way that it's the idea that she must have done something. In other words, because this happened, because this is the end result, and his view of the end result, something must have happened, and that's ridiculous. That's the burden of evidence. There is just like through the floor. You're not achieving anything.
And look at the notes, Mark, that he was given. Just scraps of paper, and he manages to go past all of the pathologist's findings.
Yeah.
And he's like the bloody oracle at Delphi, isn't he? Delphi. He I intuit that there was a murderer on the ward. I'll get out of town.
In 10 minutes. With a coffee and a Chelsea bun or whatever it is.
Yeah, just like the thing that other killer, Ian Cousins, ordered after he'd viciously murdered Sarah Everard. Coffee and a bun seems to do it for these men. Sorry, guys. No bad. but it just
No, that was
the
a terrible.
patriarchy's at work.
The patriarchy.
That was shocking.
I'm not part of the patriarchy. Well, not tonight, anyway. I'm having a day
Okay,
off.
no. We're having a day off from it. Oh, thank God.
Tomorrow I've got to get back on it, but
Oh, that's good, Mark. Great.
I mean, you have got a misogynist in the channel, so careful.
Oh God.
Everyone tells me I'm a misogynist, so it's probably true.
I'm all about the patriarchy ruling with this whole of us, so you know that's okay. I'm sure it's not true. I hope it's not true. I don't believe. I don't think so. You've got your wired for sound Cliff Richard headphones on. It's too young. He won't remember Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard's innocent as well, and he was, and the BBC as well.
Oh yeah. I remember that, yeah.
But I did a video earlier today about the labels that people can easily. I've been called everything on the interwebs, and I won't list them all, but literally every pejorative that you can think of, and they're all opposites of each other,
I should go easy on you, Mark, but I should give you a day off.
You should, I'm a wreck.
Mark, the right sweetie, you can't only just about found yourself a lampshade.
Oh, I know. I'm a lampshade. I'm a lampshade.
You're a lampshade. You've got your lampshade now.
Yeah, I was lampshade. I was like lampshade.
Anti-lampshade establishmentarianism.
I was phobic against lampshades. And alt-right probably for doing that, but I don't know. Anyway,
what were we saying about we got into patriarchy and all that? I can't remember. I felt like we were onto something then, but my brain.
I was going to say, today I did a video on my channel about circles of trust.
Untrustworthy.
Well, I only really did it just before I came on.
Oh right, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and
the Operation Martin Falcon channel. I've got to write that down. Sorry, Martin.
One of the things I was really talking about was the fact that there's quite a few people who've come forward in recent months to say, think like nurses have come forward and said, oh well, we wanted to give evidence, but we weren't allowed to, and people are slowly releasing or whistleblowing, releasing things to either Thirlwell or online to show that she's innocent. But I basically said in this video that they're weasels. I'll tell you why they're weasels. Because this has gone on for 10 years and they're coming out now because they know the tide is turning and they're going to look and they're going to look bad. So they're now suddenly saying, "Oh, look what I'm doing! Ain't I wonderful helping this lady? Why didn't you help them 10 years ago when all this nonsense started?"
I absolutely take that point on board. I understand it absolutely, but I mean, in a kind of realpolitik way, we got to accept everything that comes out that could help. But and people will, won't they? They will accept it if it's something useful that they can put forward. It's almost like I don't know. I think Kate said it earlier. It's a culture of fear. It's a culture of fear in that particular hospital, and probably across the NHS as a whole.
I think across the NHS as a whole, I really do. I think it's something to do with the English way of looking at the NHS as another religion, and it's like you don't deviate from, the script. We employ you, we pay your wages. And you don't go behind our backs, or you don't upset the hierarchy either.
Yeah,
but I think it's also a feature of the civil of the public sector. So you get it in the police, you get it in all the different public sector organisations, within education, and anywhere where
yes.
Because I mean I've worked across loads of different public sector organisations. And you get the same sort of attitude that people are scared to speak the truth, and they toe the line and they follow whatever the sort of
their mortgage repayments are depending on it, Melvin.
Yeah,
Yeah, the families, the children, they're thinking, I'm going to lose everything here. Yeah.
It's a culture of stay in your lane, isn't it, in the public? So, I mean, my parents both worked in local government as civil servants, and it's stay in your lane.
Yeah, this is Simone says that they were told they would lose their jobs, and they were put off from, those nurses were literally, probably some would have actually tested, character witnesses for Lucy Letby, but they literally were told, well, don't do this. It's not gonna fly well for you in the future.
And we've heard the testimony. That's right, Simone, of people who were quite high up in the NHS, like anaesthetists, coming forward to say that they were too afraid to speak. So what's your average nurse on an average nurse salary going to do?
And it gets worse than that in the sense of Thirlwall, because there were people that filled in their views that they thought Nurse Lucy Letby was innocent. There was that came out months ago, and they weren't invited to Thirlwall. The nurses that said that they didn't feel that she was guilty, they didn't feel she was guilty. They weren't invited to talk about it.
Yes.
So you've got there's a whole bunch of control freakery going on here.
There's control freakery. Yes, it is control. But it sure helps. It helps to calm. It helps to stop the narrate. It shuts everyone down. It shuts everyone down.
Sorry, Kate. It does. And let's look at Karen Rees. Let's look at Karen Rees's journey.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, you were going to say, weren't you? Because it's like she's meeting Lucy Letby. She does that interview where she's blacked out, and initially when that old interview, and she says, well, she must have been an amazing actress if she was really guilty, because she was destroyed, every time we used to meet her during that period leading up to 2017. And then in that recent article, Karen Rees says, well, I was advised by my lawyers to kind of effectively not flip the script, but exactly to kind of give a message out there that, okay, well, maybe she is guilty then. And she
did. Yeah, she gave a statement to say, say so. And she sort of reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen Alan Partridge's, Alan Partridge's receptionist, like Lynn, his assistant, like Lynn, sort of browbeaten and like, good at heart, but just does what she says. But she does, just does what she's told. And and when she got told she's guilty, that was it. She wouldn't. There's no way a lone woman like that can stand up against the machine and say, I think everyone's wrong.
Yeah, when I met Lucy, she was really genuinely upset, and I'm sticking with my gut feelings here. And then you don't know what pressure's brought to bear. I can only imagine. I can imagine, actually.
Well,
quiet conversations.
I can't imagine what would make me tell a lie that I didn't believe. You see, to officials or to a newspaper or to anyone else. And what I basically say in that video, that my last video that I did on my channel, is that the problem what I've experienced, because I've been through not quite the same as Lucy Letby, but something similar. And what I found is my colleagues didn't have backbones, and that was the problem. The problem is that they had no backbone, and you can't trust anyone who doesn't have a backbone, And that's
some people are stronger than others. They just can't speak.
It's not just about strength. It's about It's about your character. Your character. Are you? If someone can make you lie to a point where someone goes to prison for the rest of their life without parole, then you've got a serious problem. You've got you could do anything. You could probably, to keep your job, you could push someone off a bridge.
Yeah, but they're not lying. They're just not speaking out.
But
and they're kind of being
the same. It's the same as lying. Not saying.
They're kind of. Sorry.
Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say with Karen Rees, she goes in that most recent article. She says, "I'll always regret this. I'll always regret that I kind of turned, as it were." Because in other words, the narrative line is, I had faith in her. My lawyers told me to change because I think you got to factor in this thing that she's then thinking, oh, they're going to get the management, and she's a managerial position, or was. They're going to get them for what's that thing they were going to get them for?
Corporate manslaughter.
Corporate manslaughter, and she's on the potential hook for that, and that's why her legal representatives are putting pressure on her to say, well, you've got to distance yourself now. I'm not saying it's an excuse. And
no,
she says,
I think you've hit on a good point there, Mark. Legal representation. That's what you might be looking at, Melvin. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mark, because you want to roll.
Right,
sorry.
That was Carl talking about that before, and
oh, Carl, sorry, Carl. Sorry, Carl. No, I think you have to factor in what Mark's saying there about legal representation. If you're on the hook for something, I know what you're getting at. I think both things are true. I think
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. With me, I would still stick to what I believe and what I know to be true. I couldn't be made to lie.
Yeah.
Just to keep my job or just to avoid a corporate manslaughter thing. Because if I believe what I've done is correct,
yes,
then I should have faith that the system and the legal system will see that I've done the correct thing eventually at some point. If you don't have any faith in the legal system and you don't have any faith in yourself in your ability to persuade people, then as a senior manager you should just leave the job. You shouldn't be in the job.
No, I absolutely agree. Robert Max says I'm 100% with Carl, and I do. As a matter of principle, I'd like to think that is exactly what I would do. My understanding of Karen Rees is that she's retired, she's living in Wales on a farm or something like that. Is she thinking what's coming down the road at me? It's not an excuse for it, but it's just she has then reverted again. She's turned again, and she says now, I wish I'd never done that. And she's tried to write apparently to Lucy Letby in prison, and she's not heard back from her. In other words, you get the sense she's being seen as a bit of a traitor in a sense, that she flipped,
So she's flipped again, is that right, Mark? She's flipped again.
She's flipped again.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah, she's come back to say now I should have stuck. In other words, I should have stuck with my guns. That's what she's saying now.
Right. All right. I hadn't realised. Oh goodness.
That's the next turn of the screw, as it were.
And I think you're right, Carl. In that a lie of omission is still a lie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is why this case could have been dealt with back in 2016 if everyone had told the truth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would have helped. That would have helped. Yeah.
Well, if everyone had told the truth, apart from Brewery and Jeram, they could do what the hell they wanted. But if everyone else around them told the truth, they would have looked like the liars that they've now been, exposed as.
That's right. It sucked people in their wake, didn't it? It pulled them along.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's motorbikes. Yes.
It's such a big mess now, and it's going to take a lot still for Lucy Letby to get justice, because they've made it into such a such a big set of what would you call it? Such a big hole. They've dug such a big hole for her.
Well, we've given her our version of the US death penalty, haven't we?
Mm.
Yeah. Basically, it's the worst. I think could it be the worst sentence ever handed out to anyone in this country since the ending of the death penalty?
I think she's
there's only about 61 people. Sorry, Mark. Sorry.
Go ahead, Kate, please.
Just that it's a whole life tariff, yeah. And I think there's only 60,
right,
somewhere between 60 and 65 people. So she's up there with Rose West. She's up there with
14 of those. Didn't she get 14 or something?
Yeah.
Yes, but in reality, it just falls under a whole life tariff, which is basically you will never see the light of day again.
And the Southport killer will be out one day, and according to the law, she's worse than the Southport killer.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
just disgusting.
It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, you know, and we're talking about here in a way you can't compare crimes because here there were no crimes. There were no crimes.
She didn't commit any crime. Quite the opposite.
I mean, there was negligence, and there was corporate negligence, I believe, and there was individual.
And there were babies that shouldn't have been on that ward.
Well,
that's it. And
I've said this at the Thirlwell inquiry. One of the things that Tony Chambers really emphasised and pressed to Thirlwell was that he was shocked when he found out that they were having babies that vulnerable, that premature on the ward, and he said to I think it was Breary, why do we have babies that premature on the ward? What's going on?
Yeah.
So he had no idea. So they'd gone above.
He was shocked. Yeah, he was shocked.
They'd gone above him to bring those babies onto the ward without his knowledge. So that clearly wasn't the directive that they'd been given. They weren't told that they could have babies that premature on the ward, and they were basically breaking the guidelines for their neonatal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were. They were definitely breaking the. There's a particular organisation or particular terms they were breaking in terms of. The baby.
The abbreviation beginning with B, isn't it?
The B Packham or whatever it is, something like that, isn't it? Bapham or something. Yeah.
But the fact that they were doing it without Tony Chambers' knowledge. Now the question is, should Tony Chambers have been checking to see how premature? Should he have been doing ward rounds? Should the chief executive be doing ward rounds? I would say no. But I think if there does end up being a corporate manslaughter case of some sort, it could be argued that he should be going around checking, or at least looking at some data, some information about the babies on his desk.
They did listen. The execs had a meeting about the statistics, and there was a PowerPoint presentation, and what they were showing were the increased what's the word, acuity. So basically there was and they put up like 3 different graphs, one with the showing like the weight of the babies, one with the volume of babies that they're getting, one with the acuity, and they also mentioned the number of twins and triplets, but again, like Mark said before, we haven't got the figures to see what went on previously. But they ended up saying, look, the reason for this increased mortality for this year was not for one individual, but not for one of these things, but due to all of these compounding factors. And I just don't think that was shared. Well, I think it was shared with Gibbs, John Gibbs, and Gibbs, in his way, he actually agreed and said, I think there's something to be said here. We're talking about small numbers, and I think in a way Gibbs, I think, was quite neutral, but then by the
That's
end, when
an
you hear
interesting
him,
point you make there, Melvin, actually, because when you say all those factors and then the compound effect of them, so it's not just one thing that's gone wrong, it's not 2 things that are going wrong or 3 things that are going wrong. It now becomes, we've got a full-scale crisis on your hands.
They called them contributory factors, I think.
Sure.
Spreadsheet.
Well, you call them whatever you like, can't they? But they're all factors that are going to impact the well-being of tiny babies and the stress levels upon the staff looking after them. And I don't think there's, there needs to be a full-scale investigation, and I don't know if it's happening or if it. I mean, I don't know about this. I don't know. I just don't know.
Absolutely.
There's not going to be an investigation because, like one of the statisticians said, it wasn't actually on a national scale. The hospital for that year, it was not an outlier. So there's no point. They don't need. I mean, if you're talking on that scale, they don't need to have an investigation. They should just basically like take it on the chin.
Well, exactly the same as some of the other hospitals in that region did. I'm just going to welcome Callie to the screen now.
Callie.
So Callie Starfield here.
Hello, Callie.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming on, Callie.
Who am I talking to?
Hi,
I can
Callie.
see
Hi.
Mark and I can see
I heard your rap the other day.
I can see Mervyn. I can't see the other lady.
No, so there's Mervyn, there's Kate here, and there's Carl here, Mervyn, and yourself, and your.
Hiya, Callie.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
If there's any way you can get your volume up a little bit, Callie, that would be great. But I appreciate it.
I'm out. Hold on, I'm going to come in because I was outside and I don't want to
I can hear her okay.
Oh, you can. If everybody can hear, okay, that's great.
I can't quite, but now she's coming in. I think I can hear her.
Yeah. Okay.
So Topsy Turvy says, why didn't Tony Chambers know what was going on in his hospital with regards to accepting babies not within COCH's neonatal level? I talked to my friend about that, who's got like 30 years experience in the NHS, and says, you know, a chief executive is going to be relying on people like Ian Harvey, the medical director, and other people, you know, going to be relying on a chain of command. So I don't know if other people want to talk about that element of it. Chambers' responsibility.
Can you hear
I'm not going to bash.
Here's a question, so very quickly.
Yeah, you're a bit faint. You're a little bit faint. I don't know if you can get nearer to the mic. Yeah, that's better. If you can get nearer to the mic, it'd be great.
Could I say maybe we shouldn't talk about it because it could be part of a corporate manslaughter charge, and it could be, you know.
We don't know who is involved in that, though.
Or I mean, I suppose we don't know, but there is a possibility that he could.
Well, you could say that about anything. Like,
yeah, true. Okay.
It could be Chris Evans.
Fair enough.
It's hard to know these days because they're kind of. Sorry, go ahead, Callie. So,
are you talking about Ian Harvey?
Well, we're talking about Chambers, Harvey, the management. You know, their responsibility in this. What should they have known? How should they have acted in this in a kind of grand way?
So-called corporate manslaughter charges. That will all be related to the assumption that that Lucy is, you know, a mass murderer, because at the moment she's convicted, right? So everything they do is with the corporate manslaughter. What they're doing is they're going along the lines of the corporate manslaughter bit is the management being having this won't stand, by the way, but then it's negligent to allow a murderer in your midst and not do anything about it, right? So it's not about them being done for their awful mistakes, behavior, or the doctors. It's about blaming them for not stopping Lucy. Do you know what I mean? That's what it will be about, which is crazy, you know. But so no one's in charge though, so we can say within reason, but because no one's been charged yet, as far as we know, we don't know anyone's been charged, so we shouldn't be. Ian Harvey's name's out there, so we should be able to say a certain amount of things. Do you know what I mean? But not. Obviously, you don't want to be. You don't want to start defaming his character, but we can. You know.
I don't have. I personally don't have any problem with the way Ian Harvey or Tony Chambers acted. When I was going through the timeline of events and things, for me. You might think differently, but for me, I think they done everything they could to protect Lucy. In my opinion.
What I thought. That's what I thought.
To a point, when they gave in for various reasons. Okay, but to a point, I agree with you. They went quite a long way. They really tried to begin with.
They went to a certain extent in which they reached a point where they think, are we gonna upset 7 consultants, or are we going to put one nurse into an administration position while we work this thing out somehow? And they chose they'll move. I mean, I know there's different perspectives on this, and I think some people think they were protecting her by doing that, but they were also taking her out of out of her clinical duties without a good cause, essentially, I believe so anyway. They didn't have anything to hand in terms of a clinical. This is what Karen Rees says. She says when she met with Breary, he's not telling us he didn't tell me anything about her clinical practice. He said he didn't give me anything to go on.
No, except the drawer of doom, remember?
Except the drawer of doom, yeah.
That was a good bit. But the one thing is, when they seem to change, and this is my take on it, was obviously the advice from their lawyers, and the lawyers to the management started saying things about, is it about, it would be advisable to put Lucy out of the way somewhere, to get her out of the way, because she could then sue them for unfair dismissal, things like that. Okay.
Yes.
So it's about how do we get her, or for false accusations, etc., against her character. Yeah. So it was about them also protecting themselves against claims by her and stuff like that. Okay.
That's right.
So that's where the lawyers got involved, as they always do, and the management were really trying to help Lucy. Suddenly, we're having the lawyers saying, "Oh, be careful here," blah blah. So yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's a mixed bag.
Sorry, Kate, go ahead.
Just that it's a mixed bag at that point. If they're threatening, the management have managed to get letters of apology written, whether they were in good faith or not. I think we all agree they weren't, but they were written by the consultants anyways. And then whatever happened after that, they weren't going to back down. If not more, they were more incentivized to move forwards with a claim, and so it gets tricky at that point for anyone. I've never been in a managerial position, thank God, but anyways, if I were, I wouldn't like it.
Topsy Turvy says Tony Chambers and his executive team should have been doing inspections on all the wards. Why weren't they on the neonatal ward? They must have been oblivious to only 2 consultant wards rounds a week. So it's the idea that they should have been on top of that. And I'm going to interject this element here, is that it should have been being pushed up the other direction, as it was essentially by Alison Timmis in that email in December 2015, but not from any of the others. They seem to be kind of, well, we'll just laissez-faire, we'll carry on with this forever and a day,
Yeah, the status quo.
The status quo. They seem to be, this is something that came up with Michelle Warden talking to Peter Elston. This is a whole bunch of new information. Is that I don't know if you guys know this, but it was a shock to me actually that COCH was a level 3. It was a level 3 before 2004, and it was dropped down to a level 2. It was dropped down because before it had all these band nurses with like 25, 30 years experience.
Yeah, I didn't know. It was a level. When did you say it was when was it first a level 3?
Well, it was a level 3 originally. So there's something happens around 2004 in which what happens is Liverpool Women's Hospital, and they have these other 3 tertiary units: Liverpool Women's, Alder Hey, and the other one, Arrow Park, are meant to take up the level 3 acuity babies all into themselves, so that all these satellite hospitals drop down to a level 2. That's what Michelle Warden tells Peter Elston, and she was there at the time. She lived through that change. So this is something that I'd never heard before. Nobody had ever discussed before that it was dropped down.
How relevant is it though? 10 years prior.
How relevant is it that Michelle Warden goes on to say to Peter Elston that in 2014, Karen Rees, I think, well, it might have been Arian Powell, I get them mixed up. One of the nurse managers was making a business case that hospital, COCH, at a level 2, needed at least 10 nurses at band 5 and 2 nurse practitioners, and it didn't get through. That business case didn't succeed. In other words, and this is what Peter Elston says, well, you can see the deficit that they were running at a level 2 in 2014. That's what comes back to that.
But what she said about maternity was very true, because there was a lot of problems, not just with the women's pregnancies, but with the actual maternity unit itself, in terms of them getting people timings and things like that. So all that had a knock-on effect on the neonatal unit.
Yeah,
That wasn't
absolutely, Callie. And I think,
to the core,
yeah.
properly. You know, it wasn't. What was Ben Myers doing? I mean,
yeah. What was going on prior to them being admitted onto that ward? What state were the mothers in? What, you know, and the pregnancy and the complications.
Yeah,
Because that all feeds in, and I know Operation Merlin Falcon, who's due to be coming on in a minute. He
We're going
really
to hear about the stillbirths, aren't we?
Yeah, the stillbirths are a very unusual pattern of stillbirths across 2015 to 2017.
And I don't know. I don't know if you heard the latest Michael McConville podcast, but what you're saying is the increase in stillbirths for that year is a sign of like the general health of the population in that area.
Right.
So if there's been a sharp jump in stillbirths, which obviously Lucy had nothing to do with, but it was some sort of indicator of an increase in acuity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole of the Britain. I mean, I did the statistics. I looked at the statistics a while back, and I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember. But the neonatal services generally in Britain are just appalling. It's getting statistically, it's getting worse and worse all over the country, really, in patches. But it's appalling. So the figures, what happened isn't that surprising, really.
Yeah.
Right, Callie.
The country.
Look at what Dr. Hsu said at that inquiry. If this were a hospital in Canada, I'd have shut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not? Yeah.
I know. They're covering up for the appalling state of neonatal care in Britain. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And there's going to be more of these. So what they're going to do, blame more nurses and stick them in prison for life?
Well, that pivots on to something I wanted to bring up with the panel, which was that just to say, what are the thoughts of people that really now we need nurses with body cam?
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I don't think that would be feasible, because sometimes they do things like give patients bed baths, which would mean exposing parts of their bodies to a camera, which could easily be.
I hear you.
That video could
it sure as hell protects you as a nurse, though, doesn't it?
I think it would be more feasible to put a camera in the neonatal ward pointing at the incubators.
Yeah.
I think that would be more feasible than them actually walking around with a camera all the time.
Doesn't it cross your mind, Carl? What's crossed my mind so many times is that, we had Jaram and Brewery who so thought they had a murderer on the ward. Why didn't somebody look? I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, if I was so convinced that someone was murdering, I thought someone was murdering babies. I mean, I would have dealt with the person by then. But anyway, but why didn't somebody put a hidden camera?
Exactly. That's what nanny cam. They're called nanny cams for that very reason, aren't they? Nanny cams. That's what
teddy bears and stuff.
Workers, they have undercover people they can use.
Yeah,
they can put them in clocks. They can put them in teddy bears. They can put them in.
Yeah.
That's where the term nanny cam comes from, to check what the nanny's up to.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do it. I mean, God, they don't do everything lawfully. They have, they do that because they've covered themselves lawfully. They have covert human intelligence workers in the NHS. They could have had anyone undercover camera. They could have done that. They could have those.
But I think the reason they didn't do it is because they knew she wasn't killing anyone.
Yeah, maybe. I think so. Yeah.
Of course.
They didn't believe what they were saying. They didn't.
Of course they didn't.
Because if they had faith. If they had faith in what they were saying, they would have gathered credible evidence.
Carl. That's what I'm saying. If they really believed
by filming her,
that they didn't believe that.
Is it legal though? Sorry to interrupt, Cole and Callie, but is it legal in the UK to do that though?
Yes. it's legal for them to murder
It's
people.
legal, yeah.
If you look up the covert human intelligence and what they've given themselves legal powers to do, it's unbelievable. So anything's legal for them. But it doesn't
your
matter whether,
employer can have a camera filming whatever they like,
yeah.
apart from the toilets. Apart from the toilets or the showers, they can
Right,
film
right,
you
right.
working.
But they can
Because
legally
for
kill
me,
people.
the
I mean,
lack, and I know I've spoken to my friends about this, and they're all we all kind of come to the same thing. You know, we're in a country that has more CCTV than most countries.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
listen to American people a lot, and they always say London, the UK, it's CCTV galore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I mean, I can't walk out of my front door without being filmed endlessly.
No, it's more than
Just-
China. In this country, we have more than China. But you know,
Yeah.
I don't like all these cameras. I hate them. But if I thought someone was murdering babies, I wouldn't just leave them with babies. That's what I'm saying. They didn't think that she was murdering anyone. I don't know what they thought.
Yeah, man, I hear you, Callie. I hear you.
Let me just tell you something. Let me tell you something very quickly. This is quite unethical what I did, but some time ago, when one of my children was really small, I was concerned about how they were being cared for by their mother, so my ex-partner, and I had a watch that had a built-in camera, it just looked like a normal analog watch, and it had a built-in camera. And one day before I went to work, I put it on a shelf in the living room and left it filming.
Yeah.
And I left it filming all day. I still have the video of that. And what I came back to, when I watched the video, I had to have words with my ex-partner about what I saw.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I did that for the sake of my child. So if these consultants really cared about these babies, these neonates, they would have done something similar.
So I guess what I'm asking you, Carl, isn't what you did there, which I understand fully, and I do the same. Were the circumstance to arise, I'm asking what's admissible in court.
It's very admissible because I've also filmed my ex-wife assaulting me and being abusive to my children. I shouldn't have said ex-wife, but it's too late now. And
That's okay. I understand.
when the case went to court, because she falsely accused me of domestic violence, and when the case went to court, her lawyers tried to get my recordings made inadmissible. But there are test cases already that you can use, and the test cases basically say that the court needs as much information as it can to arrive at the correct decision, and it's more lawful to have that information in court than not to have it. It's more helpful to the court to have that information.
I would think that too. Yeah. I would think that if they could have put a stuffed teddy bear by Lucy's bedside or whenever she was on duty, and they could have picked it up over a period of time. Sorry.
It doesn't actually matter whether it can be used in court or not, because ultimately, I mean, I do this quite often with corporations. You know, when you're on the phone to them, they're giving you a load of bullshit, and you think, I'm going to record this. And so I record it, and then you say, oh, yeah, you can't use that in the court. Because I've had that with, you know, oh, you're not allowed to use the recording if they didn't consent, blah, blah, blah. But like you say, Carl, it depends on the situation. But obviously, with corporations, we know the judges always side with the corporations, and they say, oh, you can't do it. But, like, you don't need to say it to court, because if they had a film of the babies, and they had film of Lucy doing anything wrong, they could always say, well, we've got the film of her, you know, they've got it hidden somewhere.
That's what I think would happen. Yeah, it would overrule the kind of like objection to inadmissibility. It would roll down to more. Well, it's pertinent to the inquiry, or it's relevant, it's substantial evidence, or whatever they're going to say.
Inquiry, it could be, you know, but so they didn't because they didn't suspect anything. It's all bullshit, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the way Ravi and Steve went about it was the slimy wording they kept using was, we're just concerned, we want answers, you know, using things like that. We just want someone to investigate. And then when the investigation started, then they got together and sent them only the cases when Lucy was on shift.
That's right, and I think that's going to end up being their get out of jail card when all the house of cards fall down.
Yeah, we just wanted answers. Ravi's management speak.
Well, it was the police. It was Evans. It wasn't us. We were just concerned. We wanted to check it out. The police took over, and Evans told us what the truth was, and we didn't know.
Yeah, but Ravi's problem is that baby K is his big problem, isn't it?
That's a problem. That is a problem. That is.
Isn't it just?
I actually find it hilarious because, think about it. There's no CCTV or anything in the ward, like we said. But think about it. What are the chances that someone's actual movements from 7 years ago has been documented in that way? We're playing the statistical game. What are the odds that the very movement? I mean, he could have said he could have come up with any sort of lie. What are the odds that precisely the opposite of what he said had been documented when there's no Apple Watches or CCTV or anything like that?
And if he was that afraid, Melvin, if he was that afraid, where was his duty of care?
Well, he wasn't there. No, he wasn't there, was it? And
I actually wanted to say, the whole thing about, the whole thing about memory, human memory is inherently unreliable. I mean, I can't, I'm not going to say my age, but I can't remember what I did like 5 minutes ago, let alone 7 years ago. Most people can't remember. Our memories are totally unreliable. So these people that are coming back with, they remember clearly what happens on blah, 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 blah. Is a load of bollocks, and actually when they pull Lucy up for so lying or whatever, it's ridiculous, because when I look at Lucy's body language and things that she can't remember, it's more honest to say I can't remember, I don't know really, she's the one that's saying I can't remember about things, which is more honest. They're pretending. Jaren's got a crystal clear memory of everything that happened, ridiculous. And
that's right, Callie. There's a lot of human memory formation. It's very complex how the brain formulates memory. There's lots of studies I've heard that have been done about it. And sometimes people will say to me, "You said this, Kate, last week," and I think, "No, I didn't." And then I think, "Oh, maybe the way we remember it is so different."
And this whole thing about
puts it, recollections will differ, my dear, or whatever she says.
Yeah, that's right. Good quote. Yeah. I know that one. Who was that? Oh, it was the Queen, wasn't it?
I've got that wrong.
Yes. Everyone. Yeah. Exactly.
But we all have our different version of how things happened. Okay, and
I forgot that.
Who apparently told lies, and I was talking about this, Mike, earlier on. All human beings, everybody lies unless you're severely autistic. You might, not be able to very brain damage. But in other words, we lie because it's a survival mechanism. It's perfectly normal to lie. Nothing wrong with lying. It's a survival mechanism. Obviously, really nasty, malicious lies. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyday lies. We all do it. Lucy's been pulled up. She must be guilty by that guy because she's lied. Bullshit. It's well known in court that many people who are innocent lie. You lie when you're stressed. All sorts of things happen. You make mistakes. You tell her it doesn't mean she's guilty at all. So him using that as she lied, therefore she's guilty. And so did those silly Daily Mail women or whatever their names is. No.
They're meant to fail, not the fail.
The whole nonsense with Baby E about the mother and the phone call when the mother thought she made the phone call at 9 o'clock. Well, who's to say that the mum is wrong about the time, about how long it took before she made her phone call? And the other thing is like, but Lucy documented that the phone call was at 10 o'clock. Well, if she was lying, she wouldn't have. Lucy documented that the mum came to visit at 10 o'clock. If she was lying, she wouldn't bother documenting it at all. It's just nonsense.
Can I just interject there a little bit? This thing about the phone call is to do with the how that phone's measuring the time. The UTC thing, whatever it is, isn't it? That there's a reason why there's this disparity there.
There's one theory. There's one theory. Jabe was promising me to upload some sort of proof that it was due to the time zone on the phone. But
the last thing I heard
I'll be
about
looking
that
for
was
that.
that the police didn't independently check whether this time difference of an hour was created the disparity, as it were, in terms of the phone being set to a different time zone, as it were, you know. So that's what I'd heard most recently on Twitter about that.
That's alarming. I mean, when I think about how cases get decided in America on such flimsy evidence, I just feel like I know we've always been a bit like them, but it's just alarming, because if you're going to send someone pretty much to the gallows, then I feel that you should be crossing all of your T's, dotting all of your I's, and I don't care which order you do it in.
Yeah, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Surely,
that's absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to speak out for America. As far as I understand it, maybe I'm wrong, is that they've got a greater right and a more of a propensity to get appeals. They can get the appeal system going than we have over here.
They have a better appeal system than we do, Mark. That is true. They have also post-conviction relief and post-conviction motion to correct errors and all sorts of things. So it's not as, you know, in England, it's hard to get out of prison in America, but I feel like it is potentially harder here. There just aren't the different places to. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Carl. Melvin.
Carl's going to go ahead now.
Yeah, in America, you do. It's easier to get an appeal as long as you're not on death row. If you're on death row, it's near impossible to get an appeal. Or you can get an appeal, but they will never acquit you, because once they decide they're going to execute you, they're going to make sure they execute you, because it helps with votes. It's all very political, the death row over there. And there's been a lot of cases where they've got DNA evidence that the person is innocent, and they've still gone ahead and executed them.
Well, that's true too.
Years, though, doesn't it, on death row?
We're getting sorry, just interject a minute. We're getting some clicking coming through. If there's any way to hold off the keyboard, I don't know if people are. It's affecting.
Is anyone clicking on? I heard it, Mark, too.
So if there's any way to pull back on the keyboard or something, I don't know. It could be the government doing it. I don't know.
It's the government, Mark.
Government. It's always the government. It's always
the bloody Keir is in your chat.
We're being watched.
No, it's the chief executive of the Countess of Chester watching us.
Whoever that is now, they keep changing them every underpants. I don't know who it is.
Going back to the appeal thing, this is over, and I thought many times on her, you know, because she was refused permission. You know, she asked for permission to appeal, and she was refused, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And this whole permission to appeal thing does my head in. I had to go through that as a listening person. Permission to appeal, get refused, blah blah blah, and the next thing and the next thing, and it's so time consuming. But she, so my thing on this is why that was the first one was Ben Myers, wasn't he? Now why? Because Mark McDonald wasn't taken over at that point, and I thought, now if anyone can think of a reason why this wouldn't work, but in my mind I was thinking, why don't they use the post-it notes? The
yellow note, etc.
To me, those should not have been allowed in court, because it violates the PACE rules about what is, because they were basically seen as a confession. Once they've been seen, they were kind of confession, and that's against the PACE rules. Okay.
Yes.
So I thought on appeal, what Ben Myers might do was to cite that as being something that the judge should not have done. Okay, in breach of the rules. And to use that on appeal. And I don't know why he didn't, because I've also seen, I put that to a couple of lawyers online, and they actually agreed with me. So I thought, okay, well, why did Ben, and I thought his approach with saying the media didn't give her a fair trial. Okay, that's true, but that just wasn't the right way to go. It seems stupid, because they were never going to agree to that. They were never going to agree to that, because that happens in lots of other trials, and they still go ahead.
Yeah, it's a kind of generic thing, isn't it? It's because lawyers don't like attacking their own. They don't like attacking. They don't want to be seen to be attacking the judge, I think. Do you think that's what it is? They don't want to be seen to be.
Ben Myers,
they're not allowed to, really.
But
Well, he did.
Aid, which is part of the problem, because they don't pull their finger out when you're on legal aid. But either so, it was a high-profile case, and he looked stupid, having lost such a cut-and-dry case, which he should have won hands down had she had a proper lawyer, right? Because there was no evidence, let's face it. So that there was any murders, let alone that she did it. So why did he do such a crap job on his appeal papers? I'm sorry, a permission to appeal. It just, I mean, the reason he cited couldn't possibly have won, because it was the wrong. I don't know. I would have gone. Look, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not.
Hi, Georgina.
I've got some legal, but I would have gone for those. I mean, I've got some legal training, and I've got family. I had family who were lawyers. I've got some legal training, but I would have gone for the pace, as they shouldn't have been in because once people had seen those notes, you can't unsee them. You can't unsee them, even though we know they're not a confession. You can't unsee them.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the jar or whatever it is. The tube.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up a point here, Callie. Tom raised a good point that memories get overwritten. Mark, in your chat.
Yeah, sure, please. Yeah.
Just Tom wrote a good point. I thought that memories get overwritten, and in the end, it comes down to you wanting your own narrative, and so memories get embellished and they change over time. I don't know if you can bring that point up. You've got someone else.
Did you say it was
Tom? He did have it.
Tom, yeah, there it is. When you recall a memory, you overwrite it again, and the tendency is for memories to shift to match the simple narrative you want to tell. And I think that's how memory works. It's a very complex part of the brain.
Is anybody typing, by the way? Can we get like a typing sound? Can anybody, if they are typing, could they...
Get off your typewriter.
I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, it could be something else. It's not me anyway. But
damn it, get off it. I'll turn my mic.
There's a bunch of interference coming through. But anyway, we can work with it.
You've got a new guest, Mark.
Yeah,
but this comment from Tom is really good, because the memory is such a sensitive part of the brain.
We're getting a little bit. I don't know what it is, but Jenny's also just joined us, who's a nurse of several decades.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi,
hello, darling.
I know this was going on, so I think you guys are you talking about that weird mock trial thingy or something, or?
Yeah, if there's any way you can up your volume a little bit, Jenny. I don't know how you can do that on your computer through the your settings.
Go to settings, Jen. Go to settings, and then up the volume.
Up the volume. Oh boy, let's.
Yeah, because we'd love to hear what you're saying, but it's a little bit.
Yeah, beautiful accent.
But we're getting a lot of interference. There's probably some kind of
We have, Mark. I know it's been going on a little while.
I can drop out a little bit. Shall I see what happens if I do that?
Yeah, I can drop out and then come back in. I don't think it is me, but it was you, Mark. Thank God for that. The noise is gone. I know, he's a sweetheart, isn't he? But he's typing really his essay.
Yeah.
I know. He's writing a book. It was you, Mark. Mark, it all went away when you left, and now you're back. It's back. Go away. No, I'm joking.
No, I don't think it was, Mark.
I'm teasing. I don't mean that. I'm teasing him.
Yeah.
Now what do we do now that he's gone? We're all lost.
Now that you're gone. Now that you're gone.
Back in the room.
And I know, Mark.
Can you hear me now?
No, we need you louder, darling.
A little bit louder somehow. I don't know how you do it, but
is there a settings button?
Trying to help me. So settings, aha.
Oh, the noise has stopped. That's good. No, it's not.
It went when you left. I know. I'm so sorry, Mark.
No, it's true though. It did.
It is. I know.
Let me try it again. Let me go again.
It could just be StreamYard. It just plays up.
No, I actually think it's Kate's mic.
You think it's me?
Yeah, if you can mute it for a sec, I think it is.
You want me to mute it?
Just for a sec.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
is
think
it
was-
better now?
How's mine? Is mine all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. I haven't got a
I
mic.
think it's your mic, Kate. It's something to
It
do
could
with
be your
your mic.
mic, Kate. Yeah, it could be. You're a little bit louder. You are a little bit clearer, Jenny. Thank you.
How about now? I have husband taking care of it. Wave, hubby. This is the one that's been giving me all the support.
Now, Kate. Now I can't.
No, I
Hang on
don't
now.
think. No, I don't think it's me. I'll tell you why I don't think it's me, because I just turned my mic off.
Ah.
And it went. The sound went when you turned your mic off. It's gone
Yeah,
again.
that's better. That's better. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jenny, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? And hi, Carl.
Hi.
Too. Nice seeing you guys. I've been off.
Nice
I've been
seeing you too.
offline for a little
Hi.
while too. So I've been enjoying all your videos. You guys are just keeping me. It's just like IV heroin to me in a wonderful way, in a great way.
Hi, Jenny.
Give me a thing. Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
But back in the day, I mean, talking about people uploading videos and coming across Mark Mays. Back in the day, when Mark was the only one
Is
sort of
it really?
doing videos about Lucy Letby, I used to be like, the case. It was driving me crazy. It was literally driving me crazy, and I would go on to like Mark Mays on YouTube just for a bit of daily sanity.
Yes.
You know, it
yes.
would really just get you through the day by talking about what was going on, because he was the only one talking about it, really. But I mean, thank God we have got more people on it now.
Yeah. Well, at first I used to think he was a bit of a nutter. I'm like, come on, there's no way. There's no way this is going to happen. I mean, at first I believed,
Never.
like, okay,
Never.
I'm told, but boy, did I change my mind. Once I read that New Yorker article and did my own research, I was like, oh my God, he's been right all along. And I was wrong with him. So Mark, I apologize. I totally changed my mind. I want to do this to Mark Mays.
It disappeared now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I met Mark on Science on Trial. You know, Sabrina Adams' website.
Yeah, I used to be a member of that when it was open.
Yeah, and then I started writing on Substack, and I put and I actually rang up Talk Radio on the day that Lucy was convicted, saying I don't think she's guilty, because I didn't think she was going to get convicted. I thought it was ridiculous, and I got through, and they slagged me right off, as they do, these Talk Radio.
I am muted.
You know, and
all right, is that? I'll try and find that on. Will it be on YouTube? Do you think?
No, because a few minutes later, Mark. I used the false name, by the way, because when I wrote Talk Radio, I didn't use my name because.
No, but I'd recognise your voice.
But it's not. Yeah, you would. But I've looked for it, and what's happened is they've cut my bit out, and they've left just after me, about 10 minutes after I rang. Mark McDonald rang in and got through, and he,
Mark is back.
But they had to listen to him because he was a lawyer, and you can hear him online. They've cut just the clip of him speaking, but the rest of the show, I don't think you can find. I can't find it.
But actually,
I challenged her on the day she was convicted, because I knew I was waiting for the case. I was waiting for the day she was going to be found innocent, and when she was found guilty, I was like, "What? Where's the evidence?"
Well,
and
and on that, I've been part of me has been thinking, like, how can everyone go on with their lives whilst there's this innocent woman in prison? Why is not everyone
screaming
getting onto this band? Yeah.
Man,
but then another part of me,
the human condition. It's like if you saw what happened during COVID, the vast majority of people just go with authority. They just go.
Yes. And in America, I didn't know much about the trial at all, because we didn't hear anything about it. But and when it comes to COVID, as an American, I so thoroughly apologize. All that COVID shit is America's fault, and we owe the world an apology for all that.
Oh, is it your fault? What's that?
No, it wasn't my fault, but it was America's fault, and America owes everyone. Because we had played a bad part in it, because we were the ones that everyone looked to for advice, and we were telling everyone we got to panic and do all that, and instead of using science. And I think we probably did a little bit of funding there than we're where we shouldn't. But I won't go into the whole COVID thing. But as an American, I apologize for whatever happened during COVID. Or apologize for.
Oh, you don't need to apologize, Jenny, because we just did our own bad stuff over here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you know what? But we were supposedly the leaders. Trust me, if we would have had a different attitude, I think the world would have followed us. So now the world knows not to follow us.
But I don't know, because the way I understood it was Boris Johnson took his lead from the French government. So from Macron, I think he was going to stay with
yeah, and wasn't England and Sweden were going to stay together? Out of everyone, Sweden, my God, they are absolutely the best.
Yeah, they did stop it.
Sweden, absolutely.
I know what you're saying. I think the way I heard it, I could be wrong, and I know someone asked me if I could turn my mic off, but I did, and it didn't make any difference to the sound, so I'll just keep talking. But the way I heard it was that Boris Johnson wanted to herd immunity, like it or don't like it, but then he got off the phone to Macron in France. And it was kind of like the deal was done at that point.
Can I ask you why anyone would listen to someone who's him and his wife
wearing those expensive watches?
Well, no, I'm thinking, he married his English teacher, but there's some about Macron that's just
she's considerably older than him,
and his teacher too. In America, that would be like she'd be in prison. So
yeah, same here.
So Boris Johnson listened to Macron. Well, it would have been like listening to Joe Biden. So what would have been the difference?
Myself, it was awful. I need to get off this. I don't think you need to blame yourself though for COVID. I think COVID was the situation.
I'm not blaming myself, but I think as an American, I think we should say, hey, as a government, I think we should say, hey, and they are doing it. And the guy that's in charge of the NIH, Jay Bhattacharya, he was part of the forces that were for herd immunity. So he is going to make things right. And as an American, I want things to be made right.
I know, and I hear you. And you know what? The first person who ever made any sense to me was American, and they said that when the cure is worse than the disease, we've got problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been trying to fix this kind of sound thing. I think it's Callie's mic. I don't know what it is technically. I've got no idea, but if I remove you and then it stops, it does stop. But if I add you, then it starts again. But it's something technical going on, but it's nothing to do with the link. But if we can work with it, that's great. That's fine. But I'm not sure how we.
No, I'll go if it's me. I need to. Mark, before I go.
I don't want you to go. It's nothing like that. I'm just trying to establish what it is and what we can do about it.
Mark, before I go, I just want to say two things. One, you disturbed me from reading your book when you said
go.
So I was reading your book, right, which is great, and I was really enjoying it. So you disturbed me on that.
Thank you.
And the other thing is that's the blue box. It's great. And if you don't mind me making a shameful plug for my latest little video, it's all about liver and gas on. It's got a nice little picture on my Solomon Sounds channel. A nice
great,
wrap.
absolutely, yeah, that's great. You've done a kind of a wrap, haven't you, with regard to Brewery, because he's one of the main offenders here, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's like one of the main guys, Brewery.
Yeah, a little story about them. But anyway,
Whereabouts in America are you, Jenny?
I'm in Missouri, right in the smack dab.
Oh, right in the south.
Right.
Oh,
no,
wow.
not technically. We're not the South. We're the Midwest. We're almost.
Oh yeah, near Indiana.
Yeah. Illinois, Indiana. Yeah, Illinois. So I think Chicago's way up there, and then we're kind of a little bit. So we are. You couldn't get as
Midwest.
You couldn't get as middle America as you can. It should be.
So you must have some feelings about the Rick Allen case, then.
The Rick Allen. Okay, I've been a little off the thing. The Rick Allen.
Delphi murders.
The Delphi murders. Oh yeah.
Yes. I kind of learned a little bit about it. And I'm not into true crime, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm more into my medical history kind of thing, but I have heard about that and stuff. So I this is literally the first true crime thing I've gotten into was this the whole I call her Nurse Letby because I have such respect for her. So this is the first time I've delved into that. And I'm a retired nurse, so
yeah, sure.
I've been thinking. So this is like I didn't follow many trials, but I followed this one, and it's ended up being a huge miscarriage of justice. And I'm just wondering if I sat, if I attended a lot more trials, what percentage of them are going to be this way? Wow. Do you know what I mean?
Probably a lot. If it's technical, people don't get technical stuff. It's beyond. Some of the stuff has just gotten so technical that, and it's like in America, it's like who's got the best person that can present the best thing. Even though it's crazy, if they look like they're sane, they're going to believe them because it's over everyone's head. It's like someone trying to explain how a car works to me. I'd be like, or how a computer works. I'd be totally out of it. So I hate to say it, but human nature would say, well, who seems to be the most, they can say it the best.
Yeah. I think there's lots of problems with true crime.
There is actually, and it's a massive industry. I mean, on Netflix, it's the biggest earner at the moment, or one of them. And on YouTube it is as well. Actually, if you want to actually make a lot of money on YouTube, true crime is one of the places you'd go to. You'd do that.
Oh, isn't that kind of? It's a little bit. What does that say about human nature?
I mean,
feel like a good mystery. Mark was throwing claret wine round earlier this evening. Yeah, so I mean, he was trying to create a crime scene all by himself, wasn't he?
I've got a crime scene in my home here right now. I know.
On your roof, your ceiling, on your. I think it's always scary when I think we should all rise up if we don't feel that there's enough factual evidence to commit someone.
I guess we all kind of like maybe the true crime thing is that we've always loved Agatha Christie. I mean, even America. I mean, she was just as loved here as she is over there. So maybe this is kind of the 21st century. Yeah, and Murder She Wrote. Oh, come on. I didn't love. Okay.
I do Columbo.
I'll take Agatha Christie.
No, I like Columbo. One more thing. Just one more thing.
Before I leave. Columbo.
Yeah, me too. Just one more thing before I leave.
Yeah.
I know it's really sweet.
I used to like Murder. I really like that show. Yeah.
Oh, I just can't think of a small town in small town New England town has got so many murders. I couldn't get over. So that one.
But there's a kind of driver here, and this is the Snowden and I don't know. It's not just him. I shouldn't have said that name, but anyway. The people, the Witchfinder, they want the murder. They want that story. They're hungry for it, and they don't want to lose it. It's like almost like they've made it part of themselves, and they don't want to drop it. They don't want to drop that story.
But we don't want to drop it either. But we know we're true.
That's the difference.
Right? That's the difference, and we know we're right. So when we shouldn't drop it. But they're
in a fictional state of mind. They're in a fictional state of mind.
No, they're using this part of their brain, Mark. This is the frontal cortex. This is actually the human part. This is the last part that evolves in a human being. That's why they say in 25. They're using this part, which is either the mammal or the reptile brain.
Do you know what?
Human.
Reptile or monkey.
Monkey brain. They're using the monkey brain.
There was this time when
fight or flight.
One of my brothers just made sort of one little comment, and it basically it basically sort of suggested that I would like steal from my own mother, and I just thought it was really like there's something dark inside people that shouldn't be there, you know, like sort of the Wicker Man-esque, and it's quite disturbing that someone would even. I just thought it was that someone would even think of something like that, and it seems so disturbing. And then when you look at like history programs, and we're only talking on an evolutionary basis, we're talking just a couple of 100 years ago with public executions, you know, being hung, drawn and quartered, and they would take their family to see the event.
That's right. And that was the pictures.
And it's, to us, it's sick to us now, but on an evolutionary term, it was only a couple of 100 years ago. It's nothing to. So I actually think that there is part of the human brain that has got this nasty, dark part that is still present today.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, when was the last guillotine in France? I think it was still 1960. I think
it wasn't that long ago, was it?
Yeah, the last guillotine in France. Of course, it wasn't public, but of course, in America, you know, it depends on what state you are in, you know, and what they do.
You know, to your point, I studied Latin and Greek history at London University, and I remember I had this real horrible moment, a bit like what you just said about the Wicker Man, where there was that expansion of the Roman Empire, and then everything went to seed when they stopped going to war, and debauchery and all this kind of hedonism, and however you want to think of it, started to begin, and that was the decline of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had this horrible feeling about if man isn't at war, then he can't survive.
Well, and there is a biological reason for that. It's a hormone besides testosterone. There is a hormone called vasopressin, which is the aggression, the fight. And you just change it slightly in the molecule, it becomes oxytocin, which is the happy, the loving, the breastfeeding, the love, the bonding. So it is slight change. You can't change it back, but you can change vasopressin to oxytocin, but you can't change it back. So even that fight, vasopressin, I gotta fight someone and do all that is just slightly, just one little tiny little molecule. You just change that little molecule or add the whatever that, and it turns into the love. I'm happy. I'm lazy.
That's such a shame. So far yet so near, yet so far away.
Yeah. That's right. I saw on Twitter today somebody mentioned they were talking about the Snowden guy, and they recalled him saying in an early essay done on Substack or something, he enjoys talking about this, and it's a thing that he enjoys doing rather than it being a kind of a necessary thing. It's giving him a kind of a emotional lift in a way to
dopamine.
Yeah, dopamine.
Dopamine, just like what heroin does to you, just like what.
Heroin.
Yeah,
opiate, only opiate.
Yeah, and it's like hurting certain people, hurting people. I'm sure Brewery and Joram, they were getting dopamine rushes. You can't tell me that wasn't the dopamine rush for them.
Well, it could be that, but they've also got this. But they're looking. Well, they've had a bit of kind of comeback of their heroes. They're essentially heroes, aren't they? You know.
Yeah. Well, that was a dopamine rush. Oh yeah.
As well. They got.
That makes complete sense. Yeah. So once the Roman army stopped invading other countries, in lieu of that dopamine rush, they then went to sex and hedonism and parties and debauchery and God knows what. And because they still need some kind of hit. That
totally makes sense. Wow, I never even thought about that. And the Greeks the same way once they stopped. Well,
to be fair to I've got the name. I've got to get the name right here. So Carlos, he raised it with that it's I don't know, when you work it out in life, when you just realize it's part of the human condition somehow. It's deeply depressing.
It's
And they're not
depressing.
gonna-
Yeah.
And there is
It was no dopamine hit when I found that out in my head.
No, but there is a part in the brain that anterior singular something, I forgot what it is, but that's where the empathy is. And some people have a lot of it. Some people don't have much of it too. And obviously Brewery and Jerem don't have that too, but that's not an excuse. That's just an explanation.
No, it can't be.
Yeah.
No, there are other things going on in society here. For example, what we were talking about earlier about the nurses and the people that followed on, because Brewery and whoever were signalling the way. There were studies done into Hitler. Sorry to draw such dark parallels, but there were people that followed because they were afraid. And they actually saw that some of the people that were the most afraid were the most brutal. And it's no excuse again. But it speaks to a holistic approach to the human, condition.
Absolutely. And also some people that just stood by and watched, that is an autonomic response. Instead of fight or flight, there's also, that's reptile, but mammalian,
freeze,
flood, freeze, flood, fawn, go with the flow. That is a survival mechanism too. So some of the people, even though they knew that Nazis were wrong, they were so afraid that they didn't, they went along. It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse, but it's also,
it's explanation.
And some of the people that were most aggressive towards the Jews were actually the people that were more, so the way it was explained to me, and you don't need to, but it was explained to me that if you were more brutal to the Jews, then you could, there was a potential for that to have been caused by their own utter disgust at what they were having to do anyways.
Yeah. They're mad at themselves, in other words.
Yeah.
So they took
they doubled down. They doubled down on the hurt.
Right.
So they've got all the rage from having to do it, and then they've got the rage at themselves, and so now you've got the worst offenders, and it's like, where does this end? Where does any of it end? Where does it begin?
Yeah. If you're in a process of harming someone, persecuting someone, you've gone so far, you've caused them enormous harm, and you don't want to say sorry for it, you don't want to make up for it, you just keep going in that direction, and that's what they've done. They've kept going in this direction that they started in.
They went on that train and they wouldn't get off.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly that.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening here.
Like that speeding train, Mark, that how are you going to jump? Are you going to jump off and die?
Yeah, that's right.
Or you're going to make it to the next station.
Well, because they're going to be punished. They're going to be punished. If at any point in time that they jump off, they're punished. But now the punishment is so high. And like with Evans as well, the punishment is huge for Evans.
They just probably want the train to crash.
Well, they're going to see where the pieces fall, where the pieces going to fall.
And that's what happened with Letby and Steve Brewery. That's what happened with them.
Yeah. I mean, but they're hitched to this now. They're wedded to it. There's
no way out
for life until she's freed. They're connected to her.
Is there anything that happened today? I've been really, really busy doing a bunch of stuff that happened today.
Well, I put up a note earlier. I'll put up the link again, and it's a link, and it's a really good thing to. I haven't actually read it myself yet, but I'm going to put the link up again. And what it is a.
And thank you, Mark. You've been my go-to place because there's so many places I get confused. I'm like, just go to Mark.
Mark's really good, isn't he?
Well, the thing,
Mark is wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I put up in a link here, which is what it is. It's an article written by Dr. Svilena Dimitrova, who's fantastic.
I know who she is. She's wonderful.
And she's written an article on Peter Elston's website, which is the Mephitis website, which is looking at the neonatal services as a whole. And that's her concern. And that's what she's been saying on Twitter, is that, yes, she's supporting this, what she sees as a miscarriage of justice, but she's looking at the neonatal services and its
as a whole,
and the problems as a whole, and that's what she's doing.
And good for her, because this isn't an isolated. It is an isolated incident, but it really isn't. You know.
No, that's very much the case.
Yeah.
Mark, was she involved in? Was that Dr. What was her name again?
Sviliana Dimitrova.
Yeah.
Was she involved in the first press conference that Mark McDonald done? With
I don't believe she. Well, she was in the Channel 5. She was in the Channel 5 documentary where you saw her. You didn't see her face, but she had like this kind of peach-coloured nail varnish on, as I remember.
Yeah, but I think she did some writing for some stuff. She did. She wasn't there at the press conference.
No,
but she did a lot of
but
a lot of the background. I think she had a lot to do with that. She was, boy, that woman. What a wonderful human being.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
A hero.
Very
I mean,
courageous.
when all this is said and done, and it will end, I am confident she's going to be one of the true heroes in this whole thing. That woman had to have taken a huge hit. I mean, that could have just destroyed her career. Oh, hi, Merlin.
There's Merlin in the house. And,
hey, Mark. Hey, Jenny. Yeah.
Hi, Operation Merlin Falcon, or Merlin. Merlin's easy to say, but great to see you. Yeah.
Hey, Carl. Mervin.
Hi, Merlin.
Right.
Sorry it took me so long to join you guys.
I just want to say something. It could be quite controversial, what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to say it on your channel. Maybe.
Please, say anything absolutely anything you want.
So I edit it in post.
I'll edit it in post. Exactly. No, I won't. It's all live. It's all live.
No, the last few days I've been thinking about this whole, the line that people have come up with, that everything that we're doing to campaign to get Lucy Letby free is against the wishes of the parents of the children who died. But this is where I get a bit controversial, because I mean, I have been involved in the death of, when I say involved, children in my family have died in the past, and it's not a very nice feeling when a child dies and you blame yourself. So, and the first thing you do is you blame yourself, no matter what the circumstances were. You blame yourself, and even if it was a medical thing, you blame yourself, and you can't help but blame yourself. And if somebody comes along and says, no, it wasn't you, it was the nurses or it was the doctors, it's a bit of relief.
Grasp it.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault, it was these people. And then you focus on those people who you've been told were responsible, and that lets you off the hook to a certain extent. Even though you're the only person putting yourself on the hook. And I think this is kind of what's happened with the parents. When the babies died and it was sort of deemed that it was natural causes or whatever, they kind of blame themselves that biologically maybe something went wrong during the pregnancy, and they start questioning things that happened during the pregnancy.
The mom is always blamed or questioned.
Yeah, well, the mom always blames herself, I would say.
Right,
I wouldn't say they always blame.
And plus the medical things are, well, did you smoke, or did you do this or that, or why didn't you come in earlier? There's always that little hidden, well, did you do enough? I delivered a very sick premature baby. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Carl. You're saying everything appropriately.
So I think there's a lot of relief for them when they're told that it was a nurse who did something to their babies and it was nothing to do with them. And I don't because if she gets released and it's decided that she wasn't responsible, then they have to come back to questioning themselves again, and they don't want to go there. And this is probably the reason why they're not prepared to accept any evidence that suggests she's innocent, because it then opens up this dark world for them again.
Yeah.
No, Mark, you're hitting. And another biological reason is that when it comes to a birth, there's this massive release of oxytocin in the mother, and there's also some in the father too. Yeah, and that has a change in the brain. So you if you're going to mess with someone, especially a woman, but even a father too, during a birth or something like that, that is the time. If you want to mess with the brain then. And so, you know, that was all changed. And so you could see why they're so confused and whatever. I mean, oh my God. I whatever any of the parents say, I'm in one ear, not the other, and whatever I could do to make it easier for them, you know.
You're right,
yeah.
Jen and Carlo. You're right. Yeah, I did. No, Marvin. It is that. Oh, I've lost the point. Sorry, scrap that. Scrap that. Move on. Just that. Yeah, they would be traumatized. Oh no, that was the point I was going to make. They would be traumatized, but that they'd already accepted. Let us not forget the findings of the original pathologist.
Yeah.
The point I'd like to add to this is that just before the police get involved, we don't know how many, but a number of those families, presumably from 2015, 2016, are being represented by a solicitor in Chester because they're unhappy with what the hospital have told them about the deaths and the crashes of their babies. So they are already in a state of considering.
At least 3 of them, yeah. A, D, and I think C.
As far as I know, it's an unknown quantity because it's like a number of them. You know, if you go back to that first report, we just don't know who's being represented out of what ends up being the indictment list of babies, I think.
And wasn't one of the prosecuting attorneys now representing the parents or something?
That's right. That's
bizarre.
Correct.
Like,
right,
I mean, to me, that just sounds so bizarre.
Well,
Inappropriate.
It's a clash. It's a clash of, well, no, what is it? Something of interest, isn't it? It's a
conflict.
Conflict.
Yeah,
conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that person should be like nowhere near these parents.
They should recuse themselves. Yeah.
So, okay, what actually happened with these law cases? Because these negligence cases, because the mother had a problem with the way she was treated in, say, I think one of them is the way she was treated in maternity.
That was
okay.
D.
So okay. I mean, which obviously had nothing to do with the neonatal unit at all, nothing to do with Lucy Letby. So she was unhappy with the way she was treated. Then there's this case comes up, and okay, they say the baby was murdered. I mean, does that does that negligence claim for some reason go out the window?
Presumably, I don't know if a negligence claim then ends up on the indictment, it kind of like either freezes it or negates it or overturns it essentially. But that's what I'd always presumed had happened with those particular cases. But
I can't believe that would be the case.
I think the negligence case would go away simply because it's a new cause of death now. It's not negligence; it's deliberate harm.
Yeah.
But wouldn't the NHS still be, because they kind of knew Brewery and all the consultants were top notch? I mean, still.
No,
I think they'd still got to be. They got to be, because they knew these guys weren't on the up and up. They knew these guys were worthless.
No, but the thing is, I mean, they're still going with the idea that Lucy Letby is a killer. So,
right.
So it's a criminal offence as opposed to negligence, which is then falls under the jurisdiction of the police and then the criminal compensation system, as opposed to the negligence compensation system.
Yeah.
Right, I agree with Carl on that.
So they get paid. In other words, the parents, the NHS doesn't have to put out as much money because Lucy, quote unquote, Lucy did it.
No money.
Lucy
no money at all.
No dollars, nothing.
Yeah,
it
nothing.
Comes from the criminal compensation board.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
But we don't have. I don't think we got anything in this country about that.
And it's a much lower amount as well. It's a much lower amount.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
But Carl, you know, those lawyers right now, they're getting paid from that Thirlwall inquiry, a heavy sum, I would assume.
Oh yeah.
And the bad part about it and all that is the parents aren't going to get much of anything. That's just the fact.
Except for grief. Except for
well, we're talking about
money.
monetary. We're talking about stuff that we're talking about as far as a civil case versus a criminal case. And like Carl says, you know, they're pushing the criminal case because in the end, is my audio okay, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's
So
good.
in the end of all this, as just about with anything else that involves, and I don't want to talk bad about lawyers, but in the end, we all know who gets paid. And the unfortunate thing,
just going to say that myself.
and the unfortunate thing in all this is going to drag on for years and years of billable hours, mostly involving the Thurwall inquiry. And like Carl said or intimated earlier, that when the dust settles at the end of the day, the NHS is going to say, well, Lucy Letby is a murderer and we didn't have anything to do with that. So therefore, when the dust settles, the only people that are going to make money out of this is the folks that are representing those families. And I don't see an angle. And I've said this before in other lives of yours, Mark. I don't see an angle for the families in all this. I don't see an angle for any compensation, and I don't see an angle for them to get justice, real justice, as to find out the truth. The truth being, it wasn't Lucy Letby that did all this. It was many other things that all of us have talked about on many occasions. That's what the truth is, in my opinion.
But I believe they will get justice, because eventually when she is released, when she is found to be innocent and exonerated, then they will have to go back to the whole negligence, malpractice, compensation process. And what they will get is going to be substantially more, because it would have been, I'm trying to think of the right term, but it would have been kind of exacerbated by this false accusation against Lucy Letby.
And would it come from the NHS or would it come from the doctor's malpractice insurance?
Eventually, it will come from the NHS, from the trust.
Don't the doctors
from the
have
NHS
some sort
trust.
of malpractice insurance or anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But Carl,
I think
my point
to the hospital trust.
Yeah, Carl, but my point is, worst case scenario, if she ends up getting stuck where she's at right now, worst case scenario is what I was speaking about, then the only ones that made money out of that is the folks that are representing those parents and no one else. And I'm talking worst case scenario. And the only way that the truth is going to come out is if she gets a retrial or they decide to let her out. And I mean, if they decide to let her out and quash the any further charges or the past charges, where does that leave the case in that regard, Carl? You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm looking at it from the point of view. I'm a very positive person,
right?
And I'm looking at it from the point of view that, based on the evidence that's available, he will be released, because that's the only thing that could, in my mind, that's the only thing that could possibly happen. Because if she is not released with so much information in the public domain to show that she's innocent, then our justice system is finished in this country. The courts, nobody's going to take the court seriously anymore. Nobody's going to. People may not.
Well, that's a very good point.
People may not even turn up for court, and people may not turn up for jury service, and it will be just a load of lawyers and judges thinking, where is everyone?
So, Carl, do you think it's more or less it'll probably be quashed rather than go back to a retrial?
No, I think they could have a retrial, but if they have a retrial, they got absolutely no chance of getting a prosecution out of it. Zero chance, based on the amount of expert witnesses that she'll be able to call, who will, and I don't think the prosecution will be able to call any expert witnesses, because nobody's going to be stupid enough to lie on the stand the way that Dowie Evans lied on the stand, because
And
they know
these
that
guys are willing to
they'll
do
get
this
found
for
out.
free. I mean, they're willing
Yeah.
to. Some of these guys will even pay for their own travel.
But
and
you
do it
know,
for free,
Jenny,
and they're
I'm
world around.
yeah, I know Carl's more of an optimist than I am. I just my concern is whether will they ever get the opportunity to take the stand and be able to clear Lucy Letby, or will the government pretty much concede? And Mark knows, or Carl knows how that works. Is
Mm-hmm.
you know, the government could say, well, no contest. You know, we're not going to. Yeah, we're not going to push this just to sweep it out and get rid of it. But see, it doesn't really settle all this harm that's been. You know, I realize, you know, the guilters cult want to say that, you know, the harm. What we need to talk about is the harm that's been done to the babies. And yes, there was a harm, but it wasn't by Lucy Letby. The harm that's been done to Lucy Letby is what should be talked about now, because since Dr. Shu Lee and his experts have come forward pro bono, that is, and not being paid, I think there's overwhelming evidence or even probable cause for us all to believe now that it wasn't Lucy Letby. It were these other mitigating factors that was described in Shu Lee's conference. And I think that, you know, just to get the elephant out of the room real quick about what happened yesterday or the day before, and I'm not going to mention the news outlet's name, but I didn't follow it and I'm not going to go on it. But it doesn't seem like they really brought that aspect up as far as, you know, what her true defense has been, especially with the Shu Lee team. And I just wish that there would have been, if you're going to do something like that, put people in there that actually really know the Lucy Letby case, if that makes sense.
Well, do you know, apparently Mark McDonald was supposed to be there. They actually announced at the beginning that Mark McDonald sends his apologies, but something else has come up or something, and he was unable to attend. But so there was the opportunity for someone with a lot of knowledge about the case to be there. And
Well, at the end of the day, it was an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, how much could they fit in?
Right, exactly. Is there going to be a part 2 or episode 2, 3, 4, or what? That's, you know, I don't know. I don't even know if it went well or not. Maybe you guys can speak to it. I don't know.
No, it weren't worth watching.
Sorry to take over the show, Mark. I just had to get that out there.
It came up.
It's been eating at me all week.
I would say our live streams are far more worthy of watching.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Than that particular I don't know, shambles of a debate that took place.
Yeah, because we're discussing things. We're not being oppositional in order to win. We're talking about what's there, what's on the table, aren't we? We're putting it out there, and we're saying, well, you know, if the other side, as it were, to call it another side, had something that we couldn't get past, we'd be wrestling with it. We'd be saying, well, how can we get past this? What does it mean? We'd be looking at that, but there isn't anything. There's nothing there.
Right. Well, you know, Mark, guys, instead of going on that, I went on a podcast. It looks like a fairly, it looks like a podcast over in UK that's been around for a while, but they just recently covered the Lucy Letby case, and it's called Joey and Josh. Those two young guys, they knew more about the damn Lucy Letby case than I think the majority of the people sitting on that panel. In my opinion, I mean, I didn't watch it all, but I've heard people talk about it. I think that I think those two, if you get a chance, go on there. It's Joey and Josh. Looks like they have a pretty good sized channel, and I don't know what their base is, and I don't know what all they cover, but I just clicked on it. Came up that they covered the Lucy Letby case, and I think by the time they were finished in their podcast, they both agreed that it looked like it's a huge miscarriage of justice. I don't want to put words in their mouth. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's what it looked like to me. And these are two young guys that, you know, that actually studied the case. And the one said to the other one, he says, yeah, you know more about this, and you seem much more intelligent in trying to figure out, you know, the ins and outs of this Lucy Letby case. And he conceded to that. And, I thought it was kind of touching myself that these two young folks that actually knew nothing about the Lucy Letby case, but they took time. Recently, they took time to study it, and they did a podcast on it. So get a chance to look at that.
Actually,
it's interesting because there's two. Excuse me, I was just saying one moment, but sorry, is my mic on? Yeah, sorry, I apologise. There's we've got two American guests, and that's really beautiful. And I follow very closely the case in Delphi of the murder of Abby and Libby, with Richard Allen incarcerated now, convicted, found guilty, railroaded. I would pretty much.
Was that the guy that there was two girls or something?
Yeah,
and they caught him.
They
caught him.
That's it.
They caught him on a cell phone. Yeah, that's a couple of states away, so I kind of know about it a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly didn't catch him on his cell phone. The girls recorded. The girls recorded a man on the bridge. Yeah. No one even knows if he had anything to do with anything, and it certainly doesn't look like it was even Richard Allen. And he's now incarcerated in the Indiana State of Corrections for the next 130 years.
Yeah, I've been studying that case. Yep, I've been looking at it.
Can I just mention that?
Me too. Yeah, sorry, Mark, of course.
Sorry, this isn't a criticism anyway. I'm just following the chat. And is there a way to bring down the volume of your input? Because people are saying it's coming a bit.
Oh, cripes. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, I'll turn it down a bit.
Yeah, if there's any way to bring that down.
Is that a little bit easier?
I think so. Yeah, if you bring it down a little bit, and that's great. That's fantastic.
It's still loud.
Tell me. Sorry, because it's hard to judge it against other people.
I've got no idea how the technical aspects of this work, but
no, I don't. I hope it's easier for people. Is that easier?
I think that sounds better. It's softer. I think it's what I'm saying is because people want to hear what you're saying, and they
just stop me screaming at them. I hear,
not screaming. It's just I think it's just the
I wasn't intending. Sorry, I apologise for that. Anyone who's so I just find it really. Just trying to work out my just the whole idea of people being railroaded, scapegoated, made to be the full guy.
To talk about the Delphi murders, I actually have been studying that case, and I think I'm going to do a video on that. But I've been on the fence. I've gone back and forth about Richard Allen. And there's evidence that that's been shown recently that kind of causes me to believe it might not be him. As far as the video of him on the bridge, to me, looks too tall to be Richard Allen. That's just my opinion.
I thought, and I'm mistaken. I thought it was a slam dunk. So I'm going to have to watch that, Merlin. So I'll
it's about 50-50 with me, Jenny. I'm not 100% sure, but I've started looking into it, and there are things that I have issue with. A couple things. I watched some of the interrogation last week, and some of his earlier interview and interrogations, and the way some YouTubers are putting it out that and some people in matter of fact, some very reputable news outlets did some pieces and had YouTubers on, and they were supposed to be professional. They read body language and they have a doctorate and all. And I was listening to some of that, and even in that, they were making mistakes and saying things that just wasn't true. And I'm not going to call any names out, but I'm listening. And this doctor says to the host, well, he didn't say this or he didn't say that. And I'm listening to the interview and I'm like, well, shit, he did say that. Or he didn't. You know what I'm saying? It was just the opposite of what this guy was saying. And it was almost like they were trying to get everyone else to believe that he said or didn't say certain things. And when I listened to it, I'm like, are my ears failing me, or are they just trying to set, as we know, like with the Lucy Letby narrative, when you start listening to folks on these media programs, It's almost like brainwashing techniques, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I saw that in the Richard,
And it's
Richard
so
Allen.
sad. I think we need more America, UK. We need to have more actual factual evidence. If we're going to condemn someone to never seeing a sunset or a sunrise again, we should be damn sure what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just when the dust finally is settled, yeah, I know the parents they'll never get the compensation they deserve or anything like that. But history is going to be on our side, and they will. Dewey Evans, Durham, all the characters are going to go down just as nasty as almost as bad as the Nazis. I mean, this is going to look really bad to them. I mean, history. It will take forever. Lucy may not happen in her lifetime, but eventually this is going to be absolutely.
At least Hitler gave a good speech now and then.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he you know, what did he do? He did that with the crowds. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, it's.
No, he had a well-trimmed mustache too.
Yeah. Again, so there's two things he's got.
And he knew how to comb his hair from one side.
You know, if you had Hitler there with a bunch of medical notes and a cup of coffee, could he have done what Dewey Evans has done? Probably not. Yeah. Or Stalin, you know, just to even it up.
Oh, that's right, that's right. They used to
Uncle
call
Joe,
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe. Yeah.
Or Pol Pot.
Yeah.
No, none of those guys could have done it.
And Stalin was nastier than Hitler. People don't even realize that.
Yeah, he wasn't a great guy. He wasn't a great guy, no.
No, Stalin was worse than Hitler.
It's not competition.
Yeah. I know.
Well, it was a competition between. I don't know.
No, Stalin was worse to his own people than Hitler was to his. So.
Well, the Chairman Mao. We haven't talked about Chairman Mao yet. But,
no, that's true. Yeah. Let's put those three together. So.
I wonder. I think to myself how we all get involved in these cases. These potential or actual miscarriages of justice, whichever way you are. Certainly, they don't seem very factually evidential, and maybe is that a good thing? Maybe it is a good thing that we've come to this place where. Yeah,
it's a good thing that it brings out in people that we can recognize it. It shows that we're not going on like a track that the media told us what to think.
Yeah,
I think
and we're all so
many
different backgrounds. We're all
very
different
backgrounds.
We're all we all look different. We're all from totally different backgrounds. I'm Navy, Merlin's Army. You know, if Army and Navy can agree on something, trust me, and it's America. We are right.
Yeah, I'm very right wing, but at that protest, it was organised by the left wingers, wasn't it, Mark?
And those were like left. Weren't they left of the left? I mean,
I'm
left of them, right?
I'm as far right as you can get, but you know.
It brought us together. It brought the extreme.
Chalk and cheese.
But it brought everything together.
Cagney and Lacey.
That's so interesting.
Thank you.
and I don't want to keep hammering on about Delphi, even though I live and breathe and sleep and die in Indiana these days, even though I'm from the south coast of England. But the one thing I've noticed is that political divides matter not in that case as well. It's a case for due process and justice.
And if you ever get a chance to visit Indiana, it's a wonderful state. I would live in there. I would live in there in a heartbeat. Right. Wonderful people, wonderful things there. Indiana's a wonderful state. So if you ever get a chance to visit Indiana. Anytime I've been there, I've always.
Well, if I can meet up with you, Jen, I will. That'll work.
I'm from Missouri. I would be about 4-6 hours away. It's an easy Highway 70. I could get there easily. I love to go there. Yeah.
Awesome.
In fact, my husband and I we'll be married 43 years. We honeymooned in French Lick, Indiana.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
43
beautiful.
years ago. So yeah, I'll meet you there. You'd have a blast there.
Oh yeah, I'll meet you there. I'll drag Mark and Carlos and Marvin along with me. Yeah, we're going on a road trip.
Yeah.
governor road trip.
Yeah, Indiana is a wonderful state, and
Is
Missouri
it a
is
kind of
too.
is it kind of a rural state? Would you say,
Well,
Jenny? Like countryside?
it's a lot like yes and no. I mean, it's like Missouri, where there's a city, and in between there's nothing but rural, which
Yeah.
is wonderful. And the heart, I mean, the just heartland of people. I mean, you're talking. There's nothing like Californians, nothing like New Yorkers. I mean, we're just
No.
this heart of the heart of the heart of the heart, which I think a lot of the it reminds me of I guess Liverpool to some degree. There's a lot of rust. There's a lot of industries that have left, like Liverpool, and I'm assuming a lot of rural areas have gone down. I'm certain a lot like in the UK. I mean, I follow Clarkson's farm, on Prime a lot,
Yeah.
with Jeremy Clarkson. So everything he's saying about what's going on with their farms, it's going on here in America.
Right.
Too.
Right.
So yeah,
Oh, that's
Indiana's a
beautiful.
wonderful state, but you may not want to go in the summer. It's a little hot and humid, but fall, the fall colors, you can't get more beautiful. That's why we honeymoon there. So,
Oh, beautiful.
yeah, of course we
That's
weren't watching.
beautiful.
We weren't noticing the colors. This was back in '83, but
Wow.
we went back. we were doing.
Yeah.
We were having other fun, but it was a fun place to go, and it's a fun state to go to. And again, great people. Just the heart of America. And
Thanks for
Missouri's a lot
sharing
like
that. So lovely, Mary. Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Is it like has it got a kind of? Is it like a? I don't know the terminology. Is it like a blue state or a red state? Does it matter, or is it a mixture?
I think it's a mixture, but I think it's getting more and more red. It's
red.
pretty red.
Yeah.
It's not as
It
red
is
as
pretty
Missouri.
red.
They're all red now.
Yeah, it's all red. And it didn't always used to be that way, but Missouri is more
Pretty
red. More you can't get more red than Missouri, trust me.
Oh, really?
Oh no.
Yeah. I think Indiana.
Except in there's like Kansas City on one side of Missouri, and St. Louis is on the other side, and those are total blue, and everything else is red. So I mean, it's
Indiana
two
is
different
red
planets.
at the moment.
Yeah, and I live in the St. Louis area, but I live in the kind of the red part of St. Louis, you should say. Although I'm not totally red, I'm not MAGA. I mean, I could go either way, whatever makes sense. I grew up in a family. One was red, one was blue. One was Democrat, and one was Republican, and my parents never argued about it. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. You would vote for the right person. But my dad usually voted Democrat. My mom voted Republican, and again, they never had a political argument, and they were married for 50 years.
It's got
never
so
once.
In recent years, it's got so like in the UK probably it's got much harsher, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you don't dare tell people. You take a long time before you tell people who you voted for.
Yeah, it's
because
a shame,
you got to
really.
be afraid. I mean, you cannot just tell by the looking at the person, or you apologize and say, "Oh my God, I may have voted this way, but I'm not MAGA, or I didn't like Harris, but I usually vote that way." Trust me. Oh,
same vote.
We couldn't have picked two worse candidates. They were not the best of the party, either one. So,
wow.
So, but
it's similar here, really, with Conservative and Labour, maybe to an extent. To an extent.
And there's an establishment part of the Republican Party, establishment part of the Democratic Party, and then there's the people that really understand it too, the heart of the thing too. And again, we have our establishment, and they'll never switch, and hopefully they're all they're retiring out, so they're getting too old. So
hey, Mark, did you see?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Merlin. Go ahead and go.
No, please. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, did you see our Marion says, I thought I was a liberal, but my son says, no, Mom, you're right. You're from the right.
Oh,
see that in your
where's that?
Sorry to interrupt you, Jenny. I just thought that was fun.
I thought I was a liberal in my sense. Well, yeah, it's all a matter of perspective, isn't it? And position.
Yeah, she didn't know it, evidently. Sorry, Jenny, go ahead.
No. I mean, and again, I usually tend to vote more in the conservative kind of thing, but there's in the state of Missouri, we don't exactly have the best of the best when it comes to some of the conservative things too. I look to other states for for their kind of more conservative, who I kind of follow. But
I'd like to vote for like independent people that I could understand where they're coming from.
They cannot
make it. They can't make it.
They can't make it. They can't make it.
Same here.
You gotta pick your thing, which is a shame. I wish there was a third party. And the last third party in this country was Abraham Lincoln. So that tells you something. Right. Yeah, that was a Republican. It was the last third party, and since then, can't do it.
Was that guy Ross Perot? Remember Ross Perot?
Yeah, Ross Perot, and he had he not been in the race, Bill Clinton would have done it. He took all the votes from Bush, and if had Ross Perot not been in it, Clinton would have lost.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Ross Perot was, yeah, and I hate to say it, Ross Perot went to the Naval Academy, so.
Right. Well, yeah.
Merlin and I have kind of this Army Navy thing going. Yeah. So.
Army and Navy.
Don't you think?
I just ignore.
Yeah.
I just ignore on that. I don't even.
Oh yeah, the reason he's ignoring is because Army lost the last football game, which is so that's why. You still heard.
But Army pretty much they won many more games before that though.
That's true, but I think Navy's won more of all around. I think Navy's ahead of Army, but I could be wrong.
During the history, you're probably right.
Yeah. So, but that's okay.
I think it's a party politics in the UK now.
Yeah.
But just linking that back is, I've noticed that I know I've mentioned Delphi, I'm not, but with Lucy Letby, what Marvin was saying is that it doesn't seem to matter whether you're left or right on any case, really. I think we all want to see justice.
Yeah.
And due process.
Which I wish we had.
Sorry, there's a train going by. I don't necessarily think you need to be on the left or the right to want to see a just verdict or due process occurring. I don't see how you're going to.
Who would have?
Sorry, Jen, you're breaking
Jenny, you're dropping out.
You're breaking up, Jen.
I'm sorry. Are you?
You're freezing out.
We've lost you, Jenny.
You've now gone into the outer space.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're back.
Hearing me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, all right. I hit my mic. No, I think, Lucy, what a wonderful, this meek, sweet, little, quiet, shy, kind human being was able to take a country and take the right of the right and the left of the left and put them together. I mean, what can you say about what a wonderful human being she is?
No, I don't know her, so I can't comment on that.
But no, I just think that essentially her case, and she's had to go through so much bad stuff that because she's gone through that stuff, the right and the left in your country has come together. So it just says something, and it's sad that she had to go through it, but I think she should be held up as an example of someone, boy, talk about class, absolute class.
I agree, Jenny. I've only just come back in the room. It's the idea. It's beyond politics. This is beyond politics.
And Lucy's beyond politics, and she's become a wonderful, in that sense, a symbol. And as a nurse,
she will be a very important symbol in history. I think.
Yes,
I agree with that.
Absolutely. I think in 100 years, 200 years. They'll perhaps be talking about
and
that.
I don't think she needs to say anything. If she wants to go incognito after everything is said and done, I'm all for it. She doesn't need to write a memoir. I hope no one bothers her. Only if she wants to talk.
Exactly.
But she's done enough. She's done enough.
Yeah. It's just so sad that certain individuals are what's that word?
Pilloried.
I knew you'd know it, Mark. That one. yeah, I just think it's tragic. That they are the ones that they divide people, but at the same time they also bring people together. But they're suffering.
But you know,
And I am working on the premise that they are factually innocent.
Yeah.
These individuals, because I think I said this at the beginning of the stream. We're not God. We weren't there. We don't know. But if you believe that they're innocent and that they're factually innocent, then that's a hell of a toll or a burden on your life, you know, to take that strain, really.
Oh
But
my God.
what isn't like Eli was it, I can't say his name. Eli Wiesel, the gentleman that survived the Holocaust.
Yeah, and
He went through such hell, but what a you know, wonderful symbol he became and stuff. And I think she, to some degree, she might too, even though she does not need to say anything or anything, just that symbol of someone who's gone through hell and went through hell and yet kept her class, or you know, she was, you know, she just was such a wonderful person, and she kept saying, I didn't do it.
Do you know what? I was reading one of the transcripts of the retrial, and there was a bit where Lucy was asked about being in the room with baby K, and Lucy said, well, you know, you agreed, but you agreed on the first police interview that you were there, and she said, I said I only agreed because because they said that I was there and I was just trying to help. And then the prosecutor said, who were you trying to help? And her response was, well, not me.
Yeah.
Wow, God.
Obviously not her, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good for. I'd love to hear that kind of stuff. Good for her.
Well, you know, that was a lot of pressure to put somebody under who had no experience at all. And I'm surprised she had the guts enough to take the stand. I'm not sure if that's required over there, but was she required to take the stand, or did she have an option?
No, she's not required to. And yeah, it was gutsy, and because she's innocent, that's why she did it.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a way, it's actually easy, because all you have to do is get up there and say how it is, say the truth. You don't have to think of this or that. All you've got to do is just tell the truth.
But it ties your guts in knots, and Carl knows what I'm talking about when you got to go up there and take the stand and be in question.
She was medicated too.
Yeah.
We can't. She was medicated, and she was put in solitary confinement. She was harassed for years. To be able to go through all this and still take the stand, medicated, gaslighted, harassed, went through absolute hell, and still kept her dignity. I find it just so. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. And
it's very humbling. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It is, and you got to think about her parents. Like, I think her dad's about 79, 80 years old now, and the idea that, you know, he wants to see his daughter again free, doesn't he? Before
he dies.
Before too much longer.
And you know, this has got to be, you know, any day now we could, you know, this has got to be taking years off of both of her parents' lives.
Oh God! I mean, the one of the most heartrending things I remember of the reporting is that her mum was saying, "Please take me." It wasn't her. Take me.
And she was pilloried for that. She was pilloried, and she was too smothering of Lucy. And that is the love of a mother would say that.
The love of a mother is kind of like primeval. It's like the ancient love of a daughter to say,
take me.
You know, you're doing wrong here, but I'll go in her stead, and that's what it is. But unfortunately, some people don't get that. They don't get it.
You know, Mark, that we're talking about, I see some of the comments about immortalized, Lucy Letby will be immortalized. I really pissed off a lot of the Guilters cult, because I used to say, you know, one day they'll name the Countess of Chester Hospital the Lucy Letby Hospital of Cheshire. Man, they would get pissed. But I think it's the truth. I think that's what it's going to be named.
They're going to have to take it off, because it's almost like it's going to be the NHS version of Auschwitz or Birkenbau or something like that. I mean, that hospital, when everything, the dust is settled, they got to take that name off. They can't have the Countess of Chester on there. And wasn't the Countess of Chester, wasn't that named for Princess Diana because she was
there's something to do with some royalty.
And when it was redone, she was the one that cut the ribbon.
Yeah, I don't mean that. I don't mean that to offend anyone when I say renaming it, but to Countess, you know, to the Lucy Letby Hospital
they have
of
to
Chester.
because that's gonna go down in history as a notorious, horrible place. It should.
You seem to get these individuals who I know I've said this before, but I'm probably just saying it a different way, but who seem to take the fall for systemic fails or just things going wrong. You know, just incompetent investigation, incompetent systems, incompetent situations, and one person and one family. Her parents, I mean, she's an only child, and if she is, and I'm always a bit careful and wary about guilt or innocence. I'm more of a person about due process and justice.
Okay. So I saw that, Mark. Yeah. Mark. Yeah, the Countess of Chester. Wow, 40 years ago today, the hospital's officially opened. I thought it had a Princess Diana, and one of her zillion titles that she has besides Princess of Wales was Countess of Chester. So they kind of, to some degree, named it after her.
And I know this is a bit of a segue into a whole other ball of wax and Princess Diana. And anyway, somebody made sure that she was taken out of this situation as well. But that's another thing altogether.
And that's another sad story too. Another sad woman.
Well, in terms of what happened to her, you know,
what happened to her too, I mean,
I wouldn't want to take anything away from that. That's for sure. That's why I said I didn't mean to offend anybody with that.
Oh no, God, no, it's not that. I'm thinking that was a crime. I mean, I believe she was murdered. Is what I'm saying. I'll just cross the metal. I think she was murdered.
I think there's a lot of people who think that was suspicious. That whole thing, the way that went down.
Oh God,
it was awful convenient. Let's say that.
Well, she predicted it. She actually wrote it in her diary. She said, "My husband's going to arrange to have me killed in a car crash." She's written something pretty much close to that.
There was. That's right, Mark. That's it,
that's
exactly.
Right. She said it. She predicted it.
Yeah, she did. She
predicted it. I remember where I was. I was listening to the radio. I used to listen to this thing called Talk Sport Radio, and it was like in the middle of the night, and it came through the Alma Tunnel in Paris, and that's what happened. 1990, was it 96? Was it? I can't remember. 96.
No, it was like 97, 98.
They were saying
it was
was it 96?
96. I think I was 26, so it'd be 97 maybe then.
97. I remember waking up because there's a 5-hour difference and getting the paper because I had to go into work. I had to go into work early. So I go and get the paper at 5 in the morning. I'm like, Diana died? What? Because I had missed all of it because, of the time difference. No, this didn't happen. Yeah.
My dad woke me up. He came in my bedroom and he said, "Kate, I have terrible news." And I thought our cat had died. And he said, "No, it's worse."
Well, I was yeah.
I said, "Sit down." He said, "Diana's dead." She was very close to us all for some reason. I've no idea. I don't know. And I smoked 40 Marlboro that day.
Wow.
Yeah. And Diana and I are almost the same age. I think I'm 6 months older than her.
Right.
Yeah, Diana. Yeah. So we were the same age. And not to go a little bit off topic, but I don't know, but here in America, we're kind of liking your current Princess of Wales. She seems like
Kate.
Kate, she seems like Catherine. She seems like quite the dignified woman.
Yeah, I
like her. I really like her.
I like Kate.
Yeah, she's okay.
I like Kate, but there's something weird stuff been going on lately with her, and I don't understand what it is and what they're up to. But it's hard to read it because I don't know. That's another story.
What do you mean, Mark? What with the cancer and things?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know what's going on with the royal family per se and King Charles.
Oh yeah, there's something. Well, King Charles, it sounds like it's terminal.
All right. Yeah.
It sounds like it's
yeah.
terminal. I mean, it's not because he had to go back in the hospital. It sounds like it's terminal. And the rumors I was hearing is that hers was cancerous, precancerous. It needed chemotherapy, so it wouldn't have gotten. So there's, again, with certain cancers, there's a gray area. Is it cancer? Is it not cancer? But you still treat it the same way. So we still don't know what it was. So.
Can I ask yourself, Jenny, and Merlin in America, how you feeling about the younger prince? What's his name again?
Harry.
Harry, and
I can't
Harry
stand him.
You
And
can't.
Meghan, I apologize as an American. I apologize more for Meghan Markle than I do for
Meghan.
COVID. Okay.
Oh no, we apologise for putting Harry onto you. Trust
Oh
us.
no, Harry was fine. Harry was.
He used to be. People used to like him.
Okay.
They liked
It was
Harry.
Meghan Markle. I'm sorry. Okay. If I had to say COVID, Meghan Markle. Oh, Meghan Markle. You could, as a woman, I could tell from day. When I saw her walking down that aisle with that veil on, and she was 40 years old, I went, oh yeah. And I saw the look on the Queen's face. I went, go Elizabeth, you got it, you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
It was so full of. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the fake pregnancies and
so they weren't true. Yeah, her belly. Yeah, and I've been pregnant twice. My belly's never done this.
Yeah, or fallen down to your knees. Did it fall? Yeah, I know.
And popped. Yeah.
As for me, Mark, I don't follow it.
Oh, okay.
I don't follow it. So.
No,
I couldn't even have told you the guy's name. I couldn't even have told you his name.
Trust me, she's a laughing stock in America.
Come on, let's talk about Kerry Goldbutter.
Who's that?
Kerry Gold. Kerry Gold, the butter.
Oh, the butter.
Butter, not butter.
Got to be an unsalted version, though.
I'm clueless what you guys are saying. So.
It's butter.
I know. It went above my head too, but an Irish murder. I
just wanted to get onto a topic that OMF would get onto.
I like Kerry Gold butter, and I cook a lot with it. So,
okay.
I shouldn't say cook a lot because I don't cook a lot.
Okay.
Oh, you
but when I grill on the grill,
have learned back. It's the best.
I saw.
I understand it. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I saw Merlin's video about the crab thing, but I couldn't watch because I'm a bit funny with like crab stuff. I'm sure it tastes really nice, but I'm not into the like breaking off the claws thing. I just couldn't do it.
Gee.
We got somebody to pick it for you, I guess.
Merlin, are you Southern East Coast? Southern East Coast? I know you don't have to tell me where you live.
Yeah, I don't disclose that, but no.
Okay.
I'm on the southeast.
There's no crabs near where I live. All I'm saying, there's no crabs.
What? Nothing. Oh, not in Ireland. No, except in your own front room.
I was going to say something.
Except in the room.
Yeah. Why? What happens on the southeast coast of the UK? What happens there?
But Mark,
I don't think anything happens.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Mervyn.
Do you eat meat?
Oh, I do. God, yeah, I do, and I do feel a bit concerned about it now and again. And I made a like a dal today, like as I felt quite, what's the word?
I think if people eat meats, they shouldn't be afraid to slaughter an animal. Basically,
no, that's true. No, I'm not knocking anything. It's just, it's very particular to do with seafood because the way the seafood looks, and I know it's tasty and everything. It's not knocking it.
It's not the best presentation, Mark. No doubt.
It's not my thing. What I'm saying is, like, I can get tuna in a tin, and it doesn't look like it's a tuna, isn't it? It's like a tin of tuna. I'm not identifying it with the creature in a way.
You can't mix mustard and mayonnaise together and look at it. That's what we're saying, basically, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, but you're going for those crabs. I'm sure they taste great, though. The steamed crabs, they're steamed, weren't they, with the spices?
Yeah, they're steamed. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With the spices around the thing.
I'll have to look at that.
Very good.
And in Missouri, we don't exactly get anything fresh when it comes to seafood, unless you're talking trout. or
Trout.
catfish?
No, I've never had trout.
Catfish.
I've never had
You've
trout.
never had
No,
trout?
I've never had trout.
Fishy fish.
Oh.
Is it fishy?
We don't have a lot of trout over here.
Oh.
We have a lot of salmon, cod,
Haddock. We have
yeah. haddock,
Yeah.
cuss.
Place.
No, we
We
can't
have
get
all-
in the Midwest. We can't get any decent, really good salmon or cod or anything like that. We're in the Midwest, so you know you got to.
Yeah,
If it
yeah.
swims in a river, we can do it, but we don't have salmon.
Oh, trust me, the salmon swim in a river.
I know they do, but not anywhere near St. Louis or Missouri. So
Yeah, yeah.
the only salmon near in Missouri is in a can. So
Okay.
See,
Yeah,
I'm with Mark.
salmon is beautiful.
I'm like with Mark with the crabs. When it comes to salmon, I don't like it. I don't like the
Really?
taste of it. I don't
right,
like the
really?
smell of it. Mm-mm.
Oh,
I can
my
eat
God,
other fish, but
salmon.
that's one I don't like. I do not like
salmon's
that.
wonderful.
It's
Mm-mm.
the best.
Nope.
Oh,
Are you
nope.
including Merlin? Are you including like smoked salmon, like the slices of smoked salmon?
I can eat it, but I just don't prefer it. I don't
You
like
don't
the
like it,
smoked.
you
I
don't.
can do better, but I just can't. I don't know.
But you
It's
know
just,
what
it's
is
got a smell
wonderful
and a
with
taste I don't like.
crabs? What I love with crab is I love a good fresh crab cake, something that you get on the East Coast.
Yeah, I could
Oh
eat
my
crab
God!
cake. Yeah.
Oh,
I
a
could eat
crab
crab
cake.
cake. Yeah.
Oh, right.
A lot of
Marlon?
people don't know this, but
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
crabs come from Louisiana down along the Gulf.
Yeah.
Or blue channel
Yeah.
crabs. They have a bluish tint to their claws before you
Yeah.
steam them.
It always strikes me, those
Texas.
animals like crab or something, for me anyway, where, I'm good until you tell me what it is. And then I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit like that. I can have it presented in a way, but without the shell.
Without knowing what it is. Yeah. Yeah. It's like if you dish me something up and you don't tell me what it is, and I think, oh, yeah, this tastes nice. And then you tell me and I think, oh, dear.
I'd apply that to rabbit or duck because I love rabbits and ducks, but I might
Yeah.
eat it
Never-
and I think, oh,
I've
that's
never had
tasty.
a rabbit. I've never had.
Oh, you've eaten
Isn't
them?
that hot? I've never had a game.
Duck.
I
The
barely
duck's
had
quite
deer.
popular. I love duck until someone told me I was eating duck, and then that was the end of that conversation and meal.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
So, Mark, you like duck and wild game?
Well, I don't. I mean, I think I might have had it once or twice, but I like. There's a thing in, I don't know, probably same in America. Go and feed the ducks as a child.
Oh, I thought you said eat the ducks.
Well, no,
You said
no.
feed the
Probably,
ducks. Okay.
like there's a Chinese meal like duck with plum sauce, isn't there, and stuff
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
I probably
Yeah.
have eaten duck, but
Yeah.
once I know it's duck, I'm not sure. I wouldn't choose it.
Yeah, I'm not real fond of duck either. I actually prepared duck maybe twice in my life, maybe 3 times. Recently, over the last few years, my youngest does duck hunting, and I've gone with him a few times. And we prepared one, and I made a blueberry glaze sauce with it, and it was pretty good. I can eat it like that, but it's just got such a wild taste that it's not like my favorite. But I see Wesley says on here he likes catfish. I'm a big catfish person myself. I like.
What's the taste of catfish like? What is it like, catfish?
It's not as
Yeah, head
fishy
off, guys.
tasting to me.
No, the only
probably
problem
see.
with catfish though is there's a lot of bones. A
Mm.
lot of bones.
Well,
You gotta
yeah,
watch
you
the
have to.
bones.
Yeah,
You
what
gotta
I
watch
do
the
is
bones.
when we catch them out of the river here, we just throw them up on the grill, put them in some foil. But first, you got to clean them, of course, and we'll put them up on the
Yeah, that's
grill
right.
and grill them with pepper and butter and lemon pepper seasoning and a little bit of salt and some
Now-
maybe garlic salt and stuff like that. But you can pick the crab you can pick the fish right off the bone, and you just got to be careful.
Yeah. Now, Merlin, do you noodle?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a total redneck thing.
No,
Yeah,
that's
only
where you
Merlin
catch
I
them
get.
by hand. In case
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, you can lose
No, I
it
didn't
because
know
their
that.
bottom feeders are on their bottom feeders are on the thing. And I mean, if you're a total rednecker, that's a real redneck thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
those
if
are
you guys know what a redneck is. Yeah. Or
yeah,
is
those
that
are
or
big.
you think?
Those are big catfish. They're
Yeah.
almost the size of humans. But no, we're like I said, we get smaller ones, and some of the problems over here is the pollution so bad in the rivers. You can only eat one
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've never been fishing. I'm a city girl. I've never gone hunting, or I've never done any of that. So
Same
of course
here.
I'm
I've
Navy.
never
Navy doesn't
hunted.
do that kind of stuff. We get our food
Yeah, I'm a
within
city
camp.
girl too.
Well,
Yeah,
Marvin,
I
I'll
wouldn't
see you
know
down.
catfish. I couldn't pull it out of a lineup.
Yeah.
So,
I've never hunted for anything, but I mean, like rabbits and everything. People used to shoot rabbits and rabbit pie. It was a big thing, wasn't it? In the past here in England, but I've never done that. No.
and of course I have quite a German heritage with Missouri and like German heritage. So we have a lot of sausage. So and I don't want to know what's going in that. So.
Well, I think they got the German sausages usually are kind of like they got the purity law thing type
No,
thing.
I mean just sausage. You don't want to know what goes
Yeah,
in
you don't.
sausage.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the
That's
part
what
of
I meant,
the part of the animal. Yeah,
The parts
usually.
of the animal. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and
Germany
spoil
do
it
really
for you.
good.
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for you, Jenny. It's everything that's not like the pork
Yeah.
chops and the
Right. It's
It's
the
not-
organ
it's-
meat.
yeah, it's not all good.
Yeah.
Well,
With a
it's
lot of
the
spice,
snout, the tongue,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna spoil it for you.
Hey, I was raised by someone who was raised by someone who was raised by German immigrants. So, you
Yeah.
know, I
I
had
actually
a lot of
raised-
sauerkraut in my
mm.
food. A lot
I
of
actually raised
potatoes,
pigs
lot
for a
of
while.
potatoes.
Yeah.
I was a
Did
pig
you-
farmer for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Did you get attached to the pigs, Merlin? And did you find it hard, or did you like?
No,
Was it
I didn't. I didn't get attached to them. I think there was one
Yeah.
occasion where I had one sick one and had to put it on antibiotics. So when you do that, you got to keep them for a while, a long while, until the antibiotics are out of their system
Right.
before you can sell them. But I used to grow them from. I would get them. They were probably about 35 pounds, maybe a little bit smaller than that, and feed them up.
Right.
And then
You got to keep them for a New York minute.
Yeah, I love watching Clarkson's Farm. I love Jeremy Clarkson. I've
I've
always
never
loved
seen that.
Top
I've never
Gear.
seen that show.
You never?
no.
Oh my gosh!
I don't have a
I
tele-
loved him
I don't
in
have a
Top
TV,
Gear,
so I
but
don't see it.
he goes through all the farm thing. He falls in love with all of his cow. He hates to send a cow or a sheep or anyone to a slaughter, and he loves his pigs. But that's a wonderful show. He is. I think he's even outdone himself than he did in Top Gear. And I was always a big fan of Top Gear.
You like
So-
Top Gear? Yeah.
Oh my god! And I can't stand cars. I mean, I could care less what I drive, as long as it moves. But I always love the funny British humor and just of those three kind of crazy characters. And
It's
all the
interesting.
stuff they did.
That's really interesting to hear what in America what British shows you'd like. You know. How
Oh
you
yeah,
respond.
Top Gear. It's a certain segment of people. There's a certain segment of people that it's either you absolutely love Top Gear or you've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and stuff. And of course, we were big Downton Abbey was probably just as big here.
Oh,
as it is
I love
over
that
there.
show. I
Yeah.
love Downton Abbey.
There,
Yeah.
But some of the stuff, and of course we all love all your characters. Benedict Cumberbatch. There isn't a woman that, or Cillian Murphy. There isn't a woman that doesn't have a
Well,
crush on those
he's
two.
he's popular, isn't he?
Yeah.
What do you think about him, Kate? You like Benedict Cumberbatch and
Well, he's okay. He's like English, isn't he?
Yeah.
he's English.
I'm a big
He
Tom
wants the
Hardy fan.
cut-glass English accent.
Yeah.
I tend to. Everyone knows me as They say to me, "Where are you?" I say, "Oh, I'm in America because I'm watching some trial. I'm flitting from Boston, Massachusetts, and things." So, but I do love England. I do.
Yeah.
I know. I do. Jeremy Clarkson. I could leave him. He doesn't really move me, but people like
I just
Benedict
think he's funny.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
actually,
he has a sense of he does have a humour.
But I'm actually a
And
big.
he has
I'm a big-
Parkinson's now.
All
Who
right.
does?
Yeah,
Who has
because
Parkinson's?
Jeremy Clarkson.
I did not
Is he?
know
I
that.
didn't know that either. No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm a big
Yeah.
Mark Rylance fan, and Tom
Yeah, he's a good
Hardy.
actor,
Oh,
yeah.
I love Mark Rylance and Tom Hardy. I think they're just
Tom
awesome.
Hardy, yeah, he's a good actor. Isn't
Tom
he?
Hardy. He is kind of my cup of tea, but yeah.
He's my cup of tea too. That would be my
Yeah,
number one.
I was gonna
That's
Okay,
say
I'll
number one on
fight
my
you.
thing.
fight you, Jenny. I'll fight you.
Oh well,
You'll
I
find
don't
a
know.
way.
His Alfie and Peaky Blinders. Oh my God, I don't think I laughed harder than I could.
Yeah.
He made Peaky Blinders. People say Cillian Murphy did. It was Tom Hardy and Alfie Solomon. If anyone gets a
Alfie
chance to
Solomon.
watch,
Yeah, I've seen clips
yeah.
of that. But
Oh my God, he
haven't
made
watched
the
the
show. He was only in like every 4th or 5th episode or something like that. But anytime he was in, he outdid everyone. He was so good.
It's kind of like
So
they
good.
got you just to interject here. Carl's saying here he's not too keen on Clarkson, but
Clarkson.
Yeah, Carl, don't hold back. Tell it like it is.
Yeah.
But he has seen
You
that Tom
bumped into
Hardy and
Tom
Heaven Bridge.
Hardy?
I'm not a fan.
Oh
I
my
must say.
God. I have now spoken to a man that bumped into Tom Hardy. I
Yeah,
can now die.
you won.
Just 1 degree away, Jenny.
Oh
just
my
1
God,
degree
Tom
away.
Hardy, oh my God, I
You
love the
won.
movie Legends. Oh, bumped into Tom Hardy. Oh my God. Oh, so you have some of Tom Hardy's DNA on you, Carl.
Basically,
Oh my God.
it's happening right now through the screen. It's happening.
I don't know if that's a good thing to say.
We don't know what
It
kind
is
of
for
DNA
me.
it is. We need the CSI to determine that. But
Well,
I
I
always
mean in a good
appreciate
way.
a good accent.
Well, there's hair, mitochondrial DNA from hair.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
that's
okay.
Sneezed on him or
okay.
something like that.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, yeah,
Right.
he's got skin, skin
Right.
flakes.
Touch
He's got a
DNA,
skin,
right?
Yeah, touch DNA.
Touch DNA.
I thought you were thinking of something else DNA.
No,
Didn't
no.
literally bump
I
into him.
didn't
It's
literally
just
bump
it's
into
Absolutely
him.
not.
No, sadly not, Jenny. Sadly not.
Oh,
Absolutely
Carl,
not.
you should never have said that, Carl.
That's right.
Oh, Carl, you ruined my day.
I know it's heartbreaking.
Oh.
It's a heartbreaker. But
So
Oh,
going
close,
back to
my
but
heart,
so
generation,
Carl.
far away.
what about
Carl says he's innocent. You
he's
see on
innocent.
there, he says he didn't literally bump into him.
No,
He's
Wait, but
innocent.
we
Innocent
came. Okay, Carl, but did you come within 10 feet of him?
Probably.
Okay, Carl, did you come within 10 feet of him?
But then like a frisbee throw.
Yeah, 10 feet of him. 10 feet
Jenny,
of him.
stop yourself.
Jenny, I would have thought, I don't know, it's probably because it's my generation, but I would have thought like, see, I'm going back to like Anthony Andrews and Jeremy Irons. I would have thought that would have been.
Oh yeah, I like Jeremy. Yeah,
You like those
Jeremy
guys?
Irons too.
You like those
Okay,
guys?
I'm an older woman.
Yeah.
Us older
Yeah.
women kind of like the younger guys. Okay.
Oh, okay, fair
And
play,
I'm married.
fair
I'm
play,
happily
fair play.
married. I've been married
Fair
for 40
play.
something years. We can have our little girl crushies kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no, that makes
We're
sense.
not
Oh
gonna do
yeah, we can
anything,
go
so,
fan it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of
Yeah,
like the
go
younger
fan, yeah.
guys. Yeah, but we do it from a distance. But yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Mark,
See,
I gotta roll.
I like the older ones. I like who's it who played Hannibal Lecter? I love him.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
Welsh.
Yeah.
Mark, I'll catch you on the next one. I
Yeah.
gotta roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a role too. Really, Mark.
Yeah.
Anthony.
We're gonna bring it to a close now, is it, guys?
Okay. Yeah, we're ending it on Tom Hardy. Okay. All right.
Yeah, on that really good note, on that high note.
I think he's a pretty good actor, and
Yeah, watch and someone said Topsy Turvy said I love the movie Legend too. He should have gotten the Academy Award for that.
I never saw that. I like talking
you've got to
about
watch it. You've got.
I really like.
It's the Cray brothers, which are creepy, but he did both. He did the one that was schizophrenic and the one that wasn't schizophrenic. So
I like talking about actors in films as well. I mean, it's just a bit
Carl was inches away. He wasn't feet away. He was inches away. Okay, Carl.
Oh, she was inches away.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Carl.
It's made our nights. It's made all our nights, really. You've done it for us all, really. And
Mark, thank you for hosting this live. You're a sweetheart.
Mark, thank you for
you're an angel.
Thank you.
And Jenny, thank you. It's so lovely to meet you, Jenny.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you take care, guys. Yeah.
And Mark, I've been
great to see you.
Bye, Mark.
Mark, I've been promising you those chocolate bunnies.
Chocolate bunnies on the way, and the horses. There was horses involved.
Clydesdales. I'm going to post my email address to you. If you send me your address, I'll make it worth your while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's great. I
won't say any
Careful, Mark. Careful.
That's what I want to hear.
Don't upset us all.
It's
No, I
music
won't
to my
say.
ears.
I'll be nice.
I'm
I'll
not
send
Tom
you some
Hardy,
good-
but I'm the.
Oh,
like,
you're.
You're
I love
you're
you.
the
Sounds like
southwest
Yeah.
version of Tom
Yeah.
Hardy.
You're good. You're good enough for me. You're
That's
good.
great.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
Good night and
Thank
God
you. Bye bye.
bless.
Right.
Bye bye, darling. Bye
And
bye.
All the
Bye,
best to you
Mark.
free
all.
Take
Lucy.
God
care.
bless.
Free
Night,
Lucy.
Bye bye.
everybody.
God
Good
bless.
night.
Bye bye.
God
Free
bless. Night.
Lucy.
Ending the stream
Bye.
now. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Jenny. Bye. Bye, Kate. Bye, everyone. End stream.